I'm gonna. First things first, going to be muting the. Yes, mute! Ha! And now pause, because I'm not about to have that. And go figure. Alright, guys, be right back. Give me one moment.
Quiet.
Quiet. How about you, Tech Daniel? How's your day been going today?
A little bit better. I managed to pay off my electricity, so that's taken care of. And for whatever reason, the app for it wasn't working, so I had to manually go into manually talk to the company and like, hey, by the way, don't turn off my electricity. I got the money here.
Take your money. Throw it at him. Sir, that is uncalled for. What? I thought you were a stripper.
Yeah.
And then I made the money for rent. And the only thing I'm missing now is the money for the car, which I just may have to call Toyota and let them know. I was like, hey, by the way, man.
Right. See.
Pick it up.
I don't even know what I'm going to do yet. I'm just like, do I want to cause random chaos or do I want to actually do some monies? I need some monies. Hey, surprisingly, no one in chat yet. Surprisingly. I'm kind of disappointed.
Come on, people. Hello.
Right?
Show up. Do it now.
Do it now.
Come and watch this human sunbeam of gameplay.
Yes. Who it doesn't get offended when you admit that genetics is trying to Thanos snap his hair away.
It's still the best.
I'm just like, I'm not even mad about it. I'm just like, you win some, you lose some.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So what y'all been doing today? Well, I know Daniel's been drawing, commissions and whatnot.
Yeah, I finally sat down to color this auction piece I was doing for
nice.
that I did on Jimmy's stream. So right now I'm down to the to the gems and the gold trimming and the spear.
Let me white box you real quick. That is badass, dude.
Damn, that's sexy, man. Dude,
yeah,
right?
I worked a little bit more on those clouds because people were like, "Oh, hey, those clouds are pretty good." So I just worked on them some more and just and then just like, yeah, I think it's a whole lot better. I think.
Oh, dude.
Dude, I am going to buy your comic once fully colored. I mean, I've already read it already, because you showed it to me and helped me out, and I helped you out and stuff. And I mean, yeah, no, dude, I will buy this comic, dude. That is beautiful, man. Color,
right? Top notch, bro. Very top notch. Like, I know a few things that would that style would be awesome for. Who knows? Maybe once I finally get my actual, you know what I mean, my comic, IGG going, maybe I might, try to work with you on getting possibly like an alternate cover or something.
Cool.
Hey, Tech, I'm guessing you're not done with this page, but try to add some more glow and sparkle with the fire that pops out more.
Right, that's what I was going to try and do. I just figured I'd get to the rest of the picture first and try to get everything in, and that way I can go ahead and plan because I wanted to try and do some other stuff with this and try and get a glow going on, but I would probably have to move this over to Photoshop to get some of the more other stuff that you can do with Photoshop because. As much as I like Campaign Studio, there are some things it can't do that you can only do in Photoshop. But I'm going to try it anyway.
Also, I wanted to say about the spear. At the end of the spear, you may want to add more lines and stuff because the fire is coming from it. just to accent where the fire's coming from. I know it's round, but
yeah,
just add some lines and stuff. You know, some dark lines and stuff.
Oh, God, I need my explosive wolves, man. I need my explosive wolves.
I apologize for that.
No, I'm talking about I had to get my dubstep gun, dude.
Oh, that thing's awesome. Hold on. You know what? I'll show you mine. Hold on a sec. I'll be right back, and I'll show you my collector's edition piece.
All right. And that's what made dubstep gun so awesome. Oh, dude, like, all right. So I have to admit, I was like, what the hell is dubstep? Didn't understand it. And buddy of mine's like, all right, this is dubstep.
Doop, 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 doop. That's dubstep. Every time I hear it.
No, there's actually some pretty badass dubstep. I'm not like, oh, that's the only thing I listen to. I'm like, dude, I'm still a metalhead. I still prefer that. But, if you listen to techno and whatnot, any in the 90s, dubstep, I would rather listen to, like, dubstep than some of the other styles of techno that they've.
Yeah, no, there's some like you question their choice in what they do.
Like, okay, so is this fun for people who don't like to do, like ecstasy or whatever the new best sounds? That
sounds terrible, man.
Like, okay, at least dubstep, you don't have to be fucked up 3 ways to Sunday to enjoy. I'm just saying.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but some people enjoy that. So.
Woo! I looked over and saw some titties. Right.
Well, yeah. It was supposed to be cheesecake artwork. It's like, well, that's mainly what I do.
Right. Hey, man. Regardless of what the SJWs try to tell you, there's nothing wrong with enjoying the female form.
So I've been doing this forever, so I don't see this changing too much. And like, well, I've been doing this forever, so I was like, man, they can go fly a kite. They think they're gonna stop me from just doing whatever works for me.
Right.
It's like you're not paying my bills, man. It's like, come on.
And if I remember right, and correct me if I'm wrong, mind you, Mexican culture is very promiscuous.
In some places, I do believe. It just depends, I guess, on the person. It's sometimes it's also like you'll have your religious idiot at some point spoiling the fun, but.
Gotcha. Well, that's why I was asking. I mean.
Yeah, it just depends. Like I said, where you go.
Gotcha.
Like you go to like Acapulco, Cancun, and in those areas, it's like, yeah, you're gonna encounter more of that. And then it's like, yeah,
coffee train going down the wrong tube. Hey man, I'm like, I need you to give me.
Here you goes, guys. Look at this.
Give me a second.
Hey.
I'm white boxing you. Oh.
That's cool. Saints Row 4 Collector's Edition.
That is awesome, dude.
Dude, this is one of the few things I love. So, all right, I'm gonna open it up.
Show it off, dude. Show it off. You got my full attention.
All right, here it is. I never opened it, dude. I just had the game and played it. I never opened the stuff.
I don't
leave it in there, man. It'll.
Yeah, man. All right, here's the stuff that comes in with.
It'll make a great collector's item.
Some kind of weird Saint Row key.
Oh, that is awesome. That is.
It's the first thing. Smallest thing.
Like, but no, I actually out in storage. I still. Or in storage, I should say.
Oh, it goes for this. I'm sorry, it goes for this. You see this thing here? So apparently, I put this in here. Now pull it, opens it up.
Release the hounds.
No.
What the hell?
That is loud, but I would say if it check the batteries it takes. This way you don't have the same problem I'd have with my headset. that I got with 3.
It still has the plastic pull out.
Oh, okay. So it's one. Okay.
It still worked though.
Right?
I had you pull this. Yeah.
Nice.
So that's that. All right. The next thing it comes with is a statue of Johnny Gat. All right. Yes, I'm opening up for the first time. If anyone's seeing this,
that is
Johnny Gat.
Nice. Oh man, and like I said, dude, 3 man was all about revenge. Like you as a player had known Johnny Gat for 2 games already, and they killed him on the 3rd, and you're like, oh, I got to get my revenge. I got to get my revenge.
Yeah. And let's see how this works out. This is the dubstep gun.
I think it's the other way around.
Yeah, probably doesn't work if it hasn't been out of the box. The battery probably died by now.
That's what I said. You might have
probably, yeah.
You might have to take.
If it's been in a box for like forever, it's probably the problem is probably not going to work because the battery juice is dead.
Yeah, but who cares? I mean, it's a pretty cool thing to have.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, no, I'm not saying that. I'm not denying that. I'm just saying that the battery's probably dead.
No, they're not dead. Actually, if you look at it right here, the batteries are right here.
Huh.
Nice. So that's even better. So you don't have to worry about the corrosion. My God.
I don't know if they're even good or not, but still, it's. I'll try it out one day, and I'll tag you guys in this if I try it out. But I mean, come on,
that's basically all I've heard of dubstep before.
That is so awesome.
Yeah, I mean, I've never taken it out since I bought it after I got the game. So yeah.
Well, the last time I got a collector's edition, if anything, it was a Mass Effect 3.
Oh, dude, yeah, me too.
And I'm like, since then, I'm like, nope, I'm not doing that again. Like,
right? Oh, you didn't like 3?
I didn't like the ending of 3.
I can understand that. I understand the ending, but I can understand people's problems with 3. And it's in its case. Sorry.
I'm hoping. Wait. I'm wondering.
Keep wondering.
I gotta check something. Let's see. Cause are we even following each other, Daniel?
I don't think we are.
I just got thinking about that because I've always had we've just been in the. No, we are not.
No, you're not. Well, that's something to change.
I'm already tossing you the follow now. At least I did. Come on, stop fighting me. That's why I hate Chrome, dude. That's why I freaking hate Chrome. See, copy. Oh, and
Well, I was probably gonna do a stream tomorrow. I'm just trying to figure out what to do it about because I'm already finishing this.
Gotcha.
And
okay.
I was thinking of doing some world building get some ideas on how to build the world because apparently somebody has problems with world building a story you have made. So like the fuck.
And apparently I wasn't following you either, Melter.
Yeah, I just came back. I was like putting it up, but yeah. Well, I'm following you, but hey, you can follow me now. It's at Melter down. All right, nice, sweet.
I thought about it. Like, now I just gotta re-get the doop.
It happens.
That's what's causing me so much problems. No, I just realized I was like, why is my computer having problems and running slow? My computer it never has. Oh, because I made a oopsie and forgot to shut down my editing software.
Yeah, you may want to do that, sir.
I already did. I was like, oh snap! I didn't realize it took up that much of my RAM and whatnot. Like,
you'd be surprised what takes up what.
Yeah, all right.
Well, if I don't do anything tomorrow, Tech, maybe I'll join you with world building because I'm trying to world build myself, and I'm kind of almost there myself. Maybe we can get JDA or something because he's really good at his own stuff as well.
Yeah.
Well, we can ask.
World building is as bad as it sounds. For me, it's always been something that I've tried to really work on. For instance, with my own comic, it's one of those oh no, I lost a follower. Oh. No. Okay, it took me forever to just break 450 and then to break 460. All right. And now I've finally broken 470. I'm like, come on, keep going. If only I could have the same luck with my subscribers. I jump between 168 and 170. Oh.
On Twitter, I mean, I feel like every month or so, I gain 100 followers.
Not me. But then again, I did kind of, let me remove the white box from you. I did kind of, as bad as it sounds, the last couple months I really haven't been as active on Twitter because I've been helping out some friends and whatnot, and just that's been really time consuming. Unfortunately, but you know what? If you can't help your friends, who can you help?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I mean, it's I joined I think around November or December, and I'm at 336 or whatever. I'm doing, I guess, good.
Hey.
Yeah.
We're almost not built in a day, my friend.
Exactly.
And anyone who thinks it was is obviously just don't understand how construction works.
Yep.
Just saying.
Or history works, for that matter.
So about world building while we're here right now.
Mm-hmm.
We'll kind of let's take turns. Let's start with the hostess with the mostest here, Bob. And Bob, tell us about the world you're trying to build right now for your comic. Give us a quick insight.
Basically, take heavy religious themes and mix them with heavy science, and kind of at the same time make it where all the gods exist, all of them.
Okay, that's interesting. Is this modern day time or
yes,
a mixture of different times?
It's like modern day, kind of slightly futurist, but not we're talking 10, 15 years type future. And it's a alternate timeline, obviously. Things are going to be different because it's not, I think it's actually it's set 5-6 years. You're going from roughly about 2010-ish on to where the main character's at the beginning of every issue, which is about I said 5-6 years from now. And I will give you this much: New York City has been rebuilt because of events that happen in the comic book. That does get explained later on, but the best way to describe the way I view it, or the best way I can describe it is picture. I really can't. It is a mixture of so many different genres, and it skewers so many different ideologies, but not in the sense of I'm trying to make fun of it. I'm saying it's I've put thought into it and what it is. It takes, for instance, Christianity and takes, for instance, I will give you this much: the Old Testament God is not the same God that you're dealing with in modern day time. Things like that. Like, there's so much I want to say, but it's heavy spoilers. It's like, oh, I don't want to spoil it. I want you to read the comic. But it's so many themes. The best way to describe it is everything's a metaphor. Like, one of the jokes that back when I was going to have like humorous issues within the book, one of the jokes I wanted to do was have the main character sitting in a 24-hour restaurant with his buddy and be like, he looks at his friend, he looks at his friend and be like, man, do you ever feel like your life is just one big metaphor? And his friend goes, yeah, kind of like being hit by a big metaphorical truck. And they look outside the window to see a truck, big old semi and trailer drive by, and it says on the trailer, big metaphorical truck. And he's like, yeah, I'm not going outside for a little while. And his friend's like, yeah, I wouldn't do that if I was you. Like, that type, almost a kind of absurdist humor, but absurdist within limits, you know what I mean? But, and I might still do that. I have, like, because you do need a bit of humor in, like, comics and whatnot to break up the action and everything. And, like, a prime example, Sporkman, not a shameless plug here, so not a shameless plug, is a prime example of a comic that does a real good job of trying to balance that action and comedy to, you know, the, I guess you could say, what's the word? To the enjoyment of the reader. Like I said, folks, Weekend of the Spork. Weekend of the Spoke. And it's going to be awesome.
Well, I mean, most of the world building I had in mind was things like how magic would work, how technology would work. Because one of the main things is since it's a big fancy world, I was trying to figure out how to make things certain work. So that way, there's like limitations, and characters are not overpowered, and so on and so forth.
All right, I can tell you what I did. So for mine, because it deals heavy with science and whatnot, I incorporate the fact that fourth dimensional creatures and constructs and things like that. So how magic works is it's actual bloodlines that are naturally in tune to fourth dimensional thinking, and it's basically they can picture fourth dimensional constructs in their head without being driven insane. Because the reason why not everybody can do magic, I mean, you can teach someone how to do it and how to the constructs they need to picture and how to picture it, but not everyone can handle it. Their minds are not meant to. So it was something that was kept within certain bloodlines. That also explains why after like the various witch hunts and things like that, you don't find a whole lot of people doing magic anymore, because a lot of those bloodlines were wiped out or went into hiding. No. And because which is a bit of like, I guess you could say lore for my comic. At one time, they would just teach it to whoever wanted to know, but after so many people went mad and abused it because of the fact that, once again, they weren't built to be able to handle it, after that, man turned against people who knew how to do magic. And it's not like, you know, grandiose. No, it's very elemental. It's very, like, yes, you can open a portal, but only because you can visualize a fourth dimensional construct for a portal. But you can't, like, make stuff. You can't, like, turn lead into gold type deal. Like, that doesn't exist. Well, I might bring it in, but that's going to be more like ancient alien technology and shit like that. If I ever do something like that.
No, I guess I have to think more into it, because the idea is like, because one of the characters that everybody will eventually meet, she's I don't know, I guess I don't know how you would put it. I guess she has kind of a bit of the Vegeta mentality when it comes to her confidence in her ability to be a mage. She she wouldn't go to that point where she's announcing herself as proclaiming herself as the queen of all mages and all that good stuff. And
I have an idea.
Mm-hmm.
You can disagree with me and if you want or whatever, but what you could always do something like have magic be tied to certain like tribal tattoos. So each the more tattoos a mage has, the more powerful they are.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's just an idea.
It's an idea. I mean, well, because I did have a character that used runes that were attached to like to their clothing, where they could just tap the runes in certain patterns and orders, and then and poof, there's your magic. But like I sat there and I worked with it, like, yeah, this is probably not going to work for the fast pace that all the magic's going to, all the stuff that's happening that's going to happen. So I'm like, yeah, I may want to cut that out because there's no way to explain how fast that's going to be.
Oh yeah, no, but at the same time, who's to say that it, like, you could have different types of magic and different schools of thought with magic, like, because when it comes to magic, who's to say what school is right and what school is wrong? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And
so, yeah, I mean, because I guess in her case, it's kind of more of a physical magic. I guess you may want to equate it to the alchemy that you see. Well, you can see it closely. It's kind of like the alchemy that's used in a Fullmetal Alchemist.
Gotcha.
Or it's there's a lot of practical applications, and so she can do stuff like Roy Mustang's fire. Does fire snap?
Yeah.
And like where he's so damn good he can pinpoint the damn thing and just oh hey, by the way, that fluid in your eyes, bam, it's on fire now.
All right.
That's her essential thing.
But well, you could also, like, another suggestion, you could also have it be like technology based, even like just technology that people have yet to understand or discover. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like, all right, it's it'd be like us taking a firearm, like a modern day, a fully automatic M60, fucking, the large machine gun back into medieval times. What magic is this type deal?
Yeah.
I mean, it's just suggestions, just things that you could do.
Here's a good one. I got this one from an anime. It's called The Bastards of, I want to say some kind of like apostate or some kind of wizard academy or something like that. It's been a few years since I've seen it, but the whole idea was you could say something, the short-term word would send the spell. The guy who was the teacher was teaching the students that if you change your words, like added words or this or that, you could direct the spell around you, go left, right, or be more powerful, or shield, or whatever, if it was electricity or something.
Right.
I wish I could tell you the exact name of the anime, but I saw it a few years back, but it's been too long of a while. Yeah,
that's a good one.
It's a good way to think,
because this is a world where you have war golems that can essentially look like people, of any kind of race, and then where the main character is using a prosthetic arm that works essentially like her arm, but in her case she I guess she belongs to a race of upright tiger people, just more humanoid in appearance. They're naturally stronger and more agile. Basically they're built for combat. I guess you want to put it that way. The thing is none of them can use magic. So in her case, she has to use gems that allow her to carry weapons and knives like that. She can't use magic whatsoever.
Oh wow!
The only way she can even conceive the idea is if she's using the MacGuffin weapon, because the MacGuffin weapon is the one using the magic number. That
interesting.
Yeah, that was the idea. Was keeping her. She's basically fit and physical, like say Captain America, but she can't use magic to save her life. Like,
what are you doing, cat? Cat? Oh, my cat was sniffing about. So I was like, "What are you doing, cat? Are you being a cat?"
Yeah, he's being a cat. Right. Yeah. And then, but when it comes to this mage is she's a human, but she's like pretty dang powerful and ruthless on top of that.
Nice.
Like I said, she has that main Vegeta attitude. It's like it's like, you're beneath me, little fucking worm. You're gonna die right here now.
Listen here, Kakarot. When you were sent to this planet, you were expected to do a job. You didn't do it. So now I've got to do it. After I get the Dragon Balls.
And make myself immortal and all that good shit.
Right. I still
Wait.
like... What does the scatter say about his power level, Vegeta? It's 1009. What? Really? Yeah. Kick his ass, Nappa. Yay! Because
my favorite's not that one. That's a good one though. Mine's like, wait, what happened? What happened? This was here. It's gone. What happened? What happened? Goes Nappa appears. That means he took the Dragon Ball.
Oh, yeah. Wait. The Dragon Ball's here. The Dragon Ball's here. Wait, that watch. It wasn't a watch. That means he took the Dragon Balls. Krillin,
Could
you hear that? I feel that.
Yeah, it's like, It was like Trunks is like, what's that? Is that you, father? It's like the guys from that TV show. What the hell was that?
Oh, like I said, I may or may not have watched
I watched that. I actually watched that. That was actually pretty damn funny.
Dude, those bridge guys piss off toys so much.
And what's funny is Akira Toriyama is actually like 100%. He a fan. When YouTube, if I remember right, YouTube like stricken it, and it was actually him who stepped in and helped the Team 4-Star guys out.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Don't say it to Sean Schumel. He's like, I don't like those guys. I'm the only Goku. Dude, I've heard recently like that Sean gets like, he's like a diva. If he's on a con and someone else is on a con that used to voice Goku, he's like, no, I'm the only Goku.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, he's like, he had like a tantrum against the guy who does the Canadian voice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's what I heard, and I was like, holy crap. I was like, and I thought about it, I was like, well, I like the Ocean dub guys.
Like, come on, dude. You can have multiple people voicing the character. Come on.
It's not a mutually exclusive thing.
All right, and come on, it's as long as the fans are happy, that's all that matters.
Right?
Yeah, I don't know. People were crazy about that stuff. Yeah,
and thing that'll actually surprise y'all, and it surprises a lot of my friends too. I am not a Dragon Ball Z fan. The only reason why I like Abridged just happened to
enjoy the humor.
Yeah, I like the humor. Okay, a buddy of mine kind of burnt me out on DBZ back in high school. Does that tell you anything?
Yeah.
Like we're talking, he would watch it
religiously.
It's like
I know a few people who are like, "Is the show is awesome?" And it's like, dude, calm down, man.
Yeah,
calm down. Step away from the anime.
Right. I'm that way, but I'm like the one guy is like I'll watch it all the time, but I cannot watch it after the Cell Saga because I really hate it after the Cell Saga. I mean, I really hate the Boo Saga. It's just, to me, utter shit.
If I remember right, actually, the basically the Majin Buu saga and everything after that is pretty much Akira Toriyama pretty much saying, "All right,
that shit doesn't exist."
Yeah, well,
no, it's mainly because they started doing stuff after Akira Toriyama. Pretty much like, I'm done. This is like, the series is done. There's no more to put to it.
Well, it was one of those what he had originally planned to do was he wanted it to be Gohan's story after that. And what ended up happening is fans were like, "No, we want more Goku," and I'm like, "What was wrong with Gohan?" I like it. Granted, this may be a bit of I guess you could say nerds sticking up for nerds. I'm just saying, like I like the idea of the fact that, compared to Goku, Gohan actually had a brain. Well, wasn't a complete and utter dumbass.
Well, I think that was, and because I think the resounding theory is that Goku's head trauma led to some mental deficiencies. That's why he's the way he is.
Which makes sense. It does. I'm not even going to try to lie and say it doesn't.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, well, here's the thing. Akira wanted to end Dragon Ball right after Goku, defeated Frieza. Really, that was the original idea. He wanted to end it. Then he had to think of something to do after that. When he was like, "No, keep going. So he did the whole thing with Cell Saga and this. I've heard different things. You guys have stated the point of, he wanted it to be just Gohan's story. And I've heard another point because I've talked to another friend who's a huge Dragon Ball fan, a really huge one.
And speaking of Dragon Ball, Gorgonite Emissary says, "Hot take: OG Dragon Ball is leagues better than DBZ."
Oh, I can't really argue. They're both pretty. Well, they're both pretty good in their individual.
I will say this. All right.
Mm-hmm.
When it comes to anime and whatnot, I'm going to have to say, kids today don't know nothing because, let's be honest, if you want to get into anime back in the 90s or like late 90s, early 2000s, you needed to be watching Toonami.
Pretty much.
Yep.
If you couldn't watch Toonami, it's like to be you.
All right. It's like, sorry, continue. I just wanted to add that in.
Yeah, well, Toonami used to air weekdays, then it became a nighttime thing. But yeah. All right, going back to what I was saying, I was talking to a friend. It was a former coworker at a job I used to work at. But we had this whole conversation. We had a lot of conversation because he was actually working on at the time like a D&D Dragon Ball game, and I tested it with him, but we haven't done anything since then. But he was big enough.
We have it. Give me a sec. They actually do have a DBZ tabletop game.
Yeah, he has that. He has all of them. But he was like reworking and stuff. So I actually got to try the fighting mode with him and story stuff.
Mm-hmm.
He was doing. But he was what I can remember from talking with him was he was like, well, no, Akira wasn't going to end it after Cell. He wanted to keep going and do this and this. He was always going to do Goku because Goku's always been his go-to guy, but he wanted space and time to blah, blah, blah. He was like telling me this and this. There probably is some kind of like links to it. for Akira, but from what I remember, our conversation and him telling me what his links he was telling me from, I was like, all right, that's a possibility. There's only so much information out there of if they're going to continue or not. But
we got some Saints Row.
Yeah, I'm playing Saints Row.
Nice.
Hey. Oh, what? Metro, what's up, dude? Welcome back.
Yeah.
Yep.
But yeah, we were talking gaming and whatnot, and anime and everything.
That's fine. That's fine. Just I'm gonna be sleeping over at a college friend's dorm for a special class on Friday that teacher wants to do, but I don't have a ride, so kind of have to do this thing.
Hey, it's one of those being effective in school. Do what you got to do.
Yeah. Though speaking of anime, I've been exposing my friend to the wonderful, wonderful world of Count Dankula's Mad Lads, and we just got finished talking about Shoko.
See, Count Dankula, man, I say him and Sargon have just been constantly getting a raw freaking deal.
Well, with Sargon, some of the stuff you can argue he kind of brought onto himself, but there is far more stuff that he doesn't really deserve that he gets.
I really wouldn't know. I mean, I don't follow Sargon too much. I seen some of his stuff. And some of it is insightful commentary. Some of it is like, dude, come on, man. You're
probably better off for that. It's
like you could have done without.
The skeptic community kind of went down the drain for a good bit.
Yeah, I agree with that. Used to follow Sargon and Amazing Atheist and Cult of Dusty for a long time, but after that, I'm like, eh.
Don't even mention Cult of Dusty, that crazy old fart.
And when someone you haven't seen much of anymore is that guy T.
I see that guy T every once in a while,
but he doesn't do anything with his channel anymore.
Yeah.
Like, I used to like his videos because of the fact that he'd be like, look, he'd call it the way I see it. And if he disagreed with you, he'd admit the faults within the various communities, including the African American community. And at the same time, he'd be like, but he would call other people on their bullshit too. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I always respected him. I was like, I'm not gonna. You're not wrong. You know what I mean?
Like, you're not wrong, but you're not particularly super right at the same time. It's like, hey, hey, pendejo. Like you're wrong at some points here, and I can tell you why here, and here. And then,
yeah, but not many people like criticism nowadays.
Yeah, no. Well, at this point, criticism is now. Oh, if you use criticism against me, you are an evil.
I think we're kind of at the point where criticism kind of counts as hate speech.
Yeah,
it might as well at this point. But, dude, did y'all see how what got Heather Antos to block me?
Yeah, that was funny.
Like,
what happened? I didn't see this.
Oh, basically, Heather Antos put out this tweet where she was like, it's the industry small. People.
Oh yeah, that whole thing. I remember that being a huge talking point. So what did you do? That's what I didn't see.
I retweeted it with basically saying that, come on, Heather, you do it all the time, and what, you just don't want competition?
Yeah. Yeah.
And oh man, once I saw that I was blocked, I laughed my ever-loving ass off and took a screen cap of it. I was like, I'm proud. Heather Antos went out of her way to block me.
To be fair, nowadays it seems less and less of an achievement to get blocked by somebody.
Yeah, because it's not getting that hard to be blocked by somebody. You can say pie and somehow be blocked.
I mean, you don't even need to even know that a person exists, and you'll probably be blocked by them because
that actually happened.
And stuff like that. Yeah,
that actually happened. Michelle Perez, like that horrible individual.
What, like, and I know this is a very, very easy target, but I have on this Twitter account, on the Dustquill, the official Dustquill team Twitter account, I never once done anything involving the skeptic community or politics for a good bit, but even Dustquill team official account got like blocked by Steve Shives.
You know, I liked him until you let me know that he was being an SJW, and then I saw all the SJW stuff you're doing. It's like, really?
Oh, dude, Steve Shives was like one of my first of the atheist community I used to watch all the time. He made a lot of great content, but then like I fell away from him for a bit because I wanted to see like other stuff. And that's why I found Teal Deer, TLDR. And he did a video in response to Steve Shives saying that he doesn't understand. It was like Steve Shives doesn't understand men or something like that, because he was like talking crap about MRAs and fraternities and all that stuff. I'm like, okay, there is no way that could be a thing. You got to be joking me, but you know, he does incredible citations. That's sort of the thing that he does. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to wait for a response to all of this. And then not too long afterwards, Teal Deer at a video titled Steve Shives Response, and it was Steve Shives blocking Teal Deer. So on my old shit posting political account that I don't use anymore, I went to it wasn't blocked by Steve Shives at the time, and I was following him, and I was like, hey, why aren't you doing a legitimate response to Teal Deer? What's going on? I'm pretty sure you guys can actually have a discussion about this. And then I got blocked.
Yeah, see, what do you expect? It's like I stated before, ideologues, they don't like having like legit combos because of the fact that when if they can't argue the facts, like they have nothing to say. It's like take for instance The Economist today and the whole bit with how they went and labeled Ben Shapiro alt-right. And it's like you do realize Ben Shapiro's an Orthodox Jew. Okay.
So you mean the only people that apparently are allowed to have an ethno-state?
Well,
that's an easy one. That's an easy joke to crack.
Oh, I know, but the whole point that I was making is that the alt-right don't like Ben Shapiro. They've never liked Ben Shapiro. Why are you labeling him?
The alt-right doesn't like 90% of the people the left classify as alt-right.
Hey man, I got called a white supremacist. And I'm a Mexican.
Right. Oh, exactly.
I got called a Nazi despite being an extreme anti-authoritarian.
Which is by people who are extremely authoritarian. Isn't that, the
hello? Pop meat kettle.
Right. And to check in chat, Gorgonite Emissary Steve Shives doesn't understand men because his wife made sure to habitually beat all the masculinity out of him. That was a good one. And
I think all of his masculinity went to his teddy bear that he has conversations with.
Probably. And Happy Shadows, you either die a YouTuber or live long enough to see yourself become a live streamer. I just want to actually have better like editing software and everything before I get back to making proper videos, because I can do better. I'm using Windows, what is it? Like, what is the name of the software?
Is it like the Windows Movie Maker or something?
Yes, that's it. That's what I'm using.
Well, most of the time I would live stream art. That's mainly what I would use live streaming for. Other than that, I don't do anything else with it. I'm not a huge commentary for things like politics and so on and so forth, unless someone invites me and has me, hey, what do you think about this? Okay,
I have a feeling our Sunday political talk show is going to have a lot of great content, especially considering all the crap going on this week.
Especially like today. Oh my God! Like
with Tim Pool. Is that what you're going to talk about?
Oh, okay. What's Tim Pool for today?
Tim Pool, his drag kid video got copy strike for the second time by Wendy, like the mother of Drag Kid. And even YouTube's like, okay, we can see this is a legitimate problem. Look, here's all of her information where we are not going to fault you if you want to lawsuit her.
Wow.
So YouTube went against...
You know it's bad when YouTube is against you for copyright striking.
Right.
Wait, so they went against the mother or against Tim Pool?
The mother?
The YouTube is for Tim in this situation.
Awesome, that's great. I actually love Tim, so that's awesome.
Well, I think the thing for Tim is because Tim is pretty. I guess he's pretty big on YouTube as a political commentator.
It's one of those. He started out as a basically using a. If I remember right, his journey started with Occupy Wall Street. He was the first one to. Okay, hold up, pause. This is too funny. Happy Shadows said I should become an e-girl. And I know, I agree. Gorgonite Movie Maker does suck. And
Gorgonite like, as long as you pay your taxes.
But Happy Shadows is like Bob is the best. Or Gorgonite said to Happy Shadows, Bob is the best Twitch thought. You goddamn right I am. I'm the sexiest of the sexy thoughts. I'm sorry, subscribe to my Patreon that I don't have.
No, I have one. They can subscribe to mine.
You are a thought for sensible thoughts.
His Patreon includes starfish. Chocolate kind.
Oh, God, that just reminds me of the back when Limp Bizkit was a thing. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I just love how this Saints Row just dropped all pretenses of seriousness and just lets you go ham with superpowers.
Oh yeah.
Oh, hey Trey.
Like it's good game, very good game.
Oh yeah, I love it.
Like it's just one of those. Like we were talking last night, 2's the best one. Like gameplay wise, and in some ways story wise too. I'm not gonna lie, but I like the story to 3 because it's all about getting revenge for Johnny Gat. Taking over the city, and it's like, yeah, buddy. But yeah, it's one of those. I decided to restart because, quite frankly, I realized I done fucked up.
Do you have like any of the DLCs for this?
All of the DLCs, dude. When I bought the Saints Row franchise pack that came with 2, 3, all the DLCs for 3, 4, all the DLCs for 4. What makes me sad is that I didn't get all the DLCs for I didn't get a Get Out of Hell with it. I had to buy that separately, but I only picked it up for $5, so I'm not going to bitch too much about that.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
Yeah, we were talking about it yesterday. I really love the Enter the Dominatrix DLC because that was supposed to be 3's DLC, which was this game.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like I even what irritates me about that is I even made sure to get the 360 when it came out, get the season pass so I could get all the DLC, and I was like, yeah, it's gonna be a great DLC, and then it never came out. I was like, I'm an unhappy, sad panda right now.
That just sort of reminds me of when I was reading like I was always a fan of the Warcraft series, and I've always wanted to play World of Warcraft, even though I couldn't afford it. I only got into it like at the ass end of Wrath of the Lich King. but I remember the day when Burning Crusade was going to be a thing, and then they talked about how the Pandaren were going to be a playable race. I'm like, oh shit, I want to play a Pandaren. Those guys were cool in Warcraft 3, and then it was a sick joke. It was all a sick joke.
Well, they finally brought it in later.
Oh yeah, finally, but I had to get out of it before then because I didn't have the money or internet to continue playing.
I've tried,
but at least I got to play the beta. At least I got to play the beta for it. So that was fun.
What's funny is I have all the way on up to Mists of Pandora, and I do tried on several occasions to get into WoW. I'm sorry, but I'd rather play for instance, Star Trek Online, Elder Scrolls Online. I think those are the only two real MMOs I've like super got into. Of course,
I'm a huge fan of MMOs, but mostly because I just like RPGs.
Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah. All right, so I think I'm almost there. I just need the spear, and then I need to try and start working on the special effects.
Nice.
The effects.
And Gorgonite said.
Well, speaking of Warcraft, I guess I have an elf here.
All right, but real quick, Gorgonite says, I don't love Tim Pool. I think he's too forgiving and optimistic for my taste, but I agree he's one of the few good ones. Very
definitely. He doesn't seem like that nowadays. He seems very defeated most of the time. Like, he still hopes things will probably turn out better, but he seems like he's given up hope.
Yeah, because I think he's gotten to that. I think he's gotten to that point where he looks at
he's just letting shit happen. He's just gonna say his thoughts about it.
Well, it's one of those. I don't remember who said it. I swear I read it like one of y'all. I know that that I streamed with, or in chat said the thing about Tim Pool is we're watching him be red pilled slowly as we go, like in real time, or something like that.
Yeah, we're just watching the reality of the situation slowly dawn on him more and more with every video.
Mm-hmm, where it's like
it is the hero's tragic downfall in multiple videos.
Yeah, and then also I'll steal your shitty Can-Am, you knockoff. It's not even an actual Can-Am. My mom rides an actual Can-Am. This is like the shitty knockoff wannabe, but why not? Let's do that. And but Happy Shadow said everyone is talking about a crusade to take back Jerusalem, but bro, where's the crusade to take back Atlantis? Damn right. Make Atlantis great again. That's all I'm saying. But forget the fish people. Where's the justice for the Byzantines? Retake Constantinople.
Byzantines.
Thank you.
Byzantines.
Yeah. The Byzantine Empire, the heirs of Rome.
Like, I'm actually sad I never heard that before. So
You've never heard? You're this much of a history freak. You never heard the Byzantine Empire, or you just never heard the word be said?
I think it's a matter of both, really. I'm like, wow, I know all about Rome and whatnot, but I've never.
Well, I mean, it's thanks to the Byzantine Empire, the whole Crusades were a thing.
Wow. Hey, I have never claimed to know everything. I have claimed the exact opposite.
I know. I'm just legitimately surprised. It's like you never heard of Emperor Justinian and Theodora? No. Huh. That is interesting.
I just like, I'm actually kind of embarrassed right now. I'm like, oh well, I feel kind of dumb.
Well, I mean, it's sort of things that normally don't come up a whole lot, but again, like the Byzantines are like the heirs of Rome, so it's just kind of interesting that to see a history not really at least be somewhat in the know about something involving the Byzantine Empire.
It really, will you stop shooting my freaking tires? But no, it's one of those. I don't even. Most I know is I remember Constantine was the last. Like I remember Emperor Constantine expanded through into Europe. The Pope donned him the Emperor of Europe, and then from there, that's pretty much it. Oh, what's up, big guy?
Yeah, he moved the capital of the Roman Empire to the new city of Constantinople, and he pretty much inhabited the East Empire. And when the West fell, the East became the Byzantine Empire.
See, but I did not know this.
Yeah,
and it's like one of those. Wow.
They're also like the major enemies of the Ottoman Turks for like generations.
The more you know.
Yeah.
Happy Shadow says, honestly, the First Crusade is like a comedy, to be honest. Like, seriously, other than the death parts, reading about the shenanigans had me laughing out loud. I'm honestly surprised they made it.
Yeah, the First Crusade was like the only one to ever really succeed, and even the scholars at the time only consider it a victory by the barest minimum of margins.
Well, and what's sad is because I've touched on the Crusade, like, before, and I've read about it enough to know that it was basically a land grab in the name of political, or in the name of religious expansion.
How it all started off was that I can't remember or really pronounce the emperor's name, but it was like the emperor of the Byzantine Empire at the time. Tried to appeal to the Pope to help him reclaim some land that he lost from the Turks. And the Pope wanted to also capitalize on that because Rome, I think it was Rome, the Holy Roman Empire kicked him out of being the Pope despite being the legitimate Pope and reinstated a false Pope. So the real Pope wanted to reclaim some influence by making up some at least if I remember right, by making up some atrocities that were occurring in the Holy Lands, despite there wasn't really any evidence of that happening, and like thousands of people did peaceful pilgrimages for like generations with no problem, but everyone just fell straight for it, and it got like 5 countries with their own armies involved in it. But before that even happened, you had like the People's Crusade, the Peasants' Crusade, and oh my God, all the amount of pillaging, rapes, and death and Jewish slaughter that just happened by the hands of the Crusaders while still in Christendom before they even reached the Holy Lands was astronomical. They caused more damage to Christendom than he ever did to the Muslims. It is kind of pathetic.
Word. All right. For sure, we got Matt on Saturday's Meeting of the Minds, so he'll be able to talk about the Mythoverse.
Woo! Mythoverse. Can't wait to hear about that stuff.
Right. Well, like I said, it's one of those. I don't know if you heard about it, but it's the weekend of the Spork, man.
Yep.
Also, if y'all haven't seen it, you need to check out the Sporkman promo I did. It's on my channel and it's on Sporkman Studios channel.
And also, there's only a couple of days left of the lawn pool campaign. Only less than 400 last I checked to get the 10K. Very get out there.
Right. And also, I think the Abductables is getting close to being funded as well.
And before it seemed like you really had to work a whole lot to get a comic funded back when all this started. But now that Steam is collected, it's just one after another fundraisers just get completed super quick.
Well, it's one of those. I'm actually surprised the Abductables isn't already funded because of the fact that it's got Canales on it, and Canales is
Canales is great. He's got great art, and he's got a great name attached to him.
Mm-hmm. And I think if he was on Twitter, I think you'd see the Abductables getting funded. It's just because of the whole situation, and I
think Canales just can't stay on social media to save his life.
Well, he's on Gab, but Gab's not near, and he's also on Facebook. It's just Twitter, and it's because you have the ideologues on the left doing everything they can to deplatform him because of the fact that it's like I'm surprised they don't go after Daniel. To be honest, Daniel.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Being the fact that you are you're Mexican and you have an opinion of your own and you don't buy into.
I'm surprised. I'm surprised I have no. Other than a few instances out in the street where somebody just ran off something random to me, I'm just like,
yeah. Okay. But the point I'm making is the fact that I'm surprised they haven't tried to deplatform you off of Twitter. Is what I'm saying.
I don't think anyone's really tried to deplatform Troy yet. They just really like to egg him. And he keeps using it to his advantage.
I guess because they figured out, hey man, this guy's a Texan. We shouldn't mess with him.
Oh, dude, Troy is fucking hilarious. He would make them regret it. He's smart. He doesn't say anything that'll get him in trouble. He just makes sure that he does. He words things in a specific way that. He
is a very sugar-coated poison.
Mm-hmm. Like you're like, oh, that's awesome. I'm glad you. Wait a minute.
Yeah, they don't realize they're being mocked hard.
They're being had until it's too late.
Yep, it's just like on the Wanpool IGG, the video that he's got on there where it starts out. It's like,
oh yeah, that whole rant thing. Yeah,
where it's like. Let's see. Troy would use their own rules against them easily. Yep, that sums it up.
That's basically Wanpool in a nutshell.
Mm-hmm. It's using the ideology of intersectionality in the best way to make them regret ever coming up with the rules of intersectionality, which is, quite frankly, let's just be honest, there are no rules when it comes to intersectionality. There is just...
I mean, it's like, what are you going to do? Are you seriously going to try and fight back against the first ever Hispanic body-positive bisexual superhero?
Exactly. And come on, who isn't gay for Robbie? I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Just saying.
And speaking of all that stuff, to go back to Count Dankula, I love the fact he did the Black Power Pug video. I still think it's a catch-22 to protect himself because now the cops can't arrest him. Otherwise, because then they arrested somebody who's for Black Power, therefore they're racist.
Mm. And it also shuts up his detractors and be like, well, you did the Zig Heil bit with your pug and everything.
Like, yeah, but I also did Black Power.
Exactly. Oh, we got a DC Fans United in the chat.
Yeah,
buddy. I haven't seen you in a while, dude. Hope you're doing good, man. Happy to see you. But no, like, and as always, you know how we are on Meeting of the Mind and like my various live streams, way too political for our own good. But
I'm not even. I
mean, that's why I said you might as well just change your channel to an educational one at this point.
Right.
At least then YouTube might actually promote you.
Got it. I'm too full of wrong think because of the fact that I push back against their silly ideology and yes, I know. But I push back against their silly ideology and I call out the hypocrisy of what they believe and point out how it's not really rooted in reality. I like present facts. Like I'm the guy that'll sit here. Like one of the things I've been really working on is getting my gun control facts down, like to where no matter what they say, I got a rebuttal, and it's like so.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm surprised that none of these lugheads know how guns work. It's like that's not how it works. It's like I'm not even a gun nut, and I know that's not how it works.
Right, but it's for me, it's a lot of it is I just like to be. It's embarrassing. Like I said, like the Byzantine Empire. If you've never heard of it, and as someone who tries to be as knowledgeable as possible, when people expect me to know something, it's like
Well, I'm sorry on the spot like that. You just legit took me by surprise.
Oh no, you're fine. I'm not. You did nothing wrong. Nobody did anything wrong. It's just I didn't know, and it's one of those like I openly admit I'm wrong, but at the same time I will be embarrassed.
Oh yeah. At some point, we're about to get together and start reading into the Byzantine Empire because they are a very interesting point of time.
Oh, I bet, dude. Well, then again, history in general is interesting. I mean,
but like it's especially interesting when you get to the time of Emperor Justinian and Theodora.
That's what I need right there. No, it's one of those for me. I've always like. I guess it's because of the fact like I've always liked like periods like the medieval era. Thought that was cool.
Right.
I know a little bit about feudal Japan, but the main thing I know is like predominantly American history up to and especially a lot about World War II. That is my strength because that's the area I've always.
I always found American history to be a bit too boring for me, probably because to me it's just not as ancient enough to be interesting for me. I prefer to go into the really, really old stuff.
Okay, what is that noise? So I think
somebody fell asleep.
I think Melter fell asleep. I was like, well, okay.
Melter!
You awake, buddy? You alive?
Let me do this. Bloop. There we go.
Yeah, I'm not hearing it anymore.
Yep, it's because
that was random. I'm like, Melter.
Right.
Oh boy.
Man, wasn't he supposed to say?
I guess all the history talk bored him to sleep.
Right. hey, it's one of those. We can't be mad at him. We understand. And I think he can still unmute himself when he comes back.
Yeah.
Well, if he comes back.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
Why'd y'all mute me? You were snoring, dude. Like all of a sudden we started.
He wakes back up. The stream is gone. He's the only person in the chat. He's like, "Where did everybody go?"
We left, bruh. We left.
So he'd be like, "When did it become 8 o'clock in the morning?"
That's real talk. I was only, just, resting my eye. Oh, maybe I was.
Maybe I did more than just rest my eyeballs.
No, I've done that, dude. I've done that.
Yeah.
Like, no lie, just be really smoked out. Just be like, all right, dude, I'm just gonna. Bit too stoned. I'm just gonna.
When you're on a long road trip and you just close your eyes while you're a passenger, then you wake up and you're like in the next state.
Actually, that's my way of surviving road trips. I hate traveling unless I'm driving.
Oh, yeah.
If I'm driving, give me my tunes. I'm good to go.
Right, but when you're the passenger and you're just sitting there doing nothing.
Mm-hmm. I don't care. I could have a phone. I could have, like. Granted, if I had a Switch, it probably wouldn't bother me as much.
Because at least then you can do something.
Right, but like I've tried reading in vehicles. Unless you live in like
Unless you have like really smooth roads and a smooth ride, it could be next to impossible to read while riding in a car.
Fuck it.
Especially there's like assholes all over the road, so the car you're in like swerves all over the place just to survive.
Right. It's like when did we decide to go through St. Louis? Well, it's on the way, you motherfucker. Why does the show
want to go to St. Louis though?
No, go through. Just through. Not to. Just through.
God, through.
I've done that. My Uncle Danny's wedding back in '93, we had to go through St. Louis on the way there and on the way back, all right? Because that side of the family lives up in Pennsylvania.
What the hell? What the hell is honking?
Okay.
What's going on out there?
What's going on? I'm confused.
Why would 4 cars be in a diving formation on school campus?
That's well.
Okay.
That's well. You mute your mic, please, or should I?
Oh, sorry. It's just all of a sudden there's just a bunch of random honking outside. It's like, what the hell's going on out there?
Oh, okay. Like, all I know is for a second there was like you're talking. Next thing we know, it's like, oh wait, what's going on?
This is random life on a college campus.
And dude, I'm too old for that shit.
Yeah.
Like,
I am in my mid-20s, and even in my late teens, I consider myself too old for this.
And dude, once you hit like 35, like I had a weird moment today. No lie, I had a weird freaking moment today.
Oh yeah.
Major pain.
Did you have a boomer moment, or is this a different kind of moment?
It was one of those. Okay, major pain. All right.
Okay.
Watching it, and it's like, you know, they don't. And first off, I was like, man, they don't make movies like this anymore. You know what I mean? And that was the first bit, and then I was like, man, they couldn't get away with making this movie today. And that was the second part. It was like, oh god, I feel fucking old now. Like, and I wouldn't mind them making. Oh, dude, believe me.
Just imagine them trying to make another Full Metal Jacket.
Oh, dude, that one, like, you can't do that because I'm sorry, with Gunny being, you know, he died like, what is it, last year? I think last year, the year before.
Yeah, but even then,
either last year or 2 years ago.
And it's like
it was very recent.
And it's like you can't you can't remake that movie. I'm not even a big Full Metal Jacket fan, and I'm like that if they try to remake that movie.
You don't even have to like the movie, but everyone will agree that him being the drill sergeant is when he acts as the drill sergeant is always the best moments of the movie. It is legit praiseworthy no matter who you are.
Yeah, and the fact that they got someone who was a legit Marine who went through it to play the drill.
A legit drill sergeant that did everything through improv.
Mm-hmm. Like, oh man.
Just imagine trying to be the actors going through that one. Okay, what the hell am I supposed to do?
Right?
Right. Okay, I think that's done.
Oh, give me a second. Let me get to the top of this building, and I will white box you. Close enough.
Close enough.
Close enough.
And
what do you think?
That's just. I'm just saying.
I sort of like the quasi buckler she has there.
Yeah, I think the idea I had in mind was that it kind of connects to the gauntlet that she has on. So if she has the strap, just to hold it from the hand.
Defensive gauntlet, really?
Yeah, more or less.
Okay, I can see that.
And DC fans like elf titties.
Yeah. Well, I do more that actually I need to. I'm kind of low on funds, and I'm trying to meet all my bills. If you would like to commission something, I am actually doing a commission sale. You'll get basically 2 characters for $30, black and white. And every other character will be $10 after that. I need to make 460 or more, if possible. Preferably before the first comes around.
Yeah, and that's getting close.
Yeah,
that's getting close. And
my website does take PayPal, and I can also give you my PayPal.
Also, yes, nice. You posted your website in chat. I am so sorry. I am so
no worries.
I completely like. Yeah. And may I say, once I get this,
I do have a comic. It's in black and white, but I am working toward putting a colored version on it. We are 3 pages away from getting all the flats done. This is we're taking time into because some of us have the guy who's helping me with the flat has a day job. So
gotcha. And
that's fair enough.
And Gorgonite Emissary says, when the elf titties are just right.
If you would like, there's also a donation button if you just want to use the donation button, and
help a brother from another mother out.
Is it like safe to assume that spear there also is apparently counting as a casting staff?
Yes.
That's pretty neat. Multi-tool. You got a multi-tool.
Yeah, multi-tool tasking.
Hey.
Better to fuck everything up while you're at it.
Why have a weapon that performs 1 function when it can do 2 functions?
Right. And you know, the SJWs complain about, you know, armor like that and how it doesn't cover the body. It's like, are you kidding me? That armor is multi-purpose. The enemy's too busy staring at the titties. Rolled down. Stab. Bro, that solves that problem.
Besides, it's fantasy. I mean, I do make characters with some obviously realistic armor in terms of, you know, but I do try to make sure to incorporate some sexiness into things. And then
Zach, you have access. It's the second link in chat, so if you want to join, you feel free. I mean, we're just, like I said, it's a gaming stream where I'm just playing video games. And we're talking about random whatevers, dude. Random whatevers. This is my channel. It can go anywhere from politics to video games to history to the reticuloid and the soy.
So speaking of needing cash and commissions, I really need to start pushing my writing commissions a lot more.
Yeah, bruh.
Bruh.
But I think before I do that, I need to seriously finish up on this month's table talk. Before I do that, I need to record and edit that. Once almost up.
Speaking of, we do still need to get together so I can show you the idea I had for the percentile.
Oh yeah, we definitely need to do that at some point.
Like,
but I got my show like booked up until May right now.
Nice. I actually was that way with my channel at first, and now I'm just like, you know what? If you want to come on, and I'll try to be like at least like a couple weeks ahead if I can. But for the most part, I'm just like,
yeah, I was kind of that way too. But then it's like, okay, I'm wasting like half a month just trying to find someone to talk about or to talk with.
Yeah.
I need to change this up.
Well, I am fortunate enough to have a large group of people that I can pull from, and most of the people that are doing Indiegogos for comics and everything, I already stream with. So like,
yeah, I was on my way of having that happen until Twitter decided to nuke my account for 7 days.
Right.
I was getting a consistent 1.5 thousand impressions every hour. And that was nice while it lasted.
Dude, I don't even know what my impressions are. I know my channel doesn't get as much love as I wish it would, but at the same time, I'm like,
I had to sacrifice a lot of potential work hours just to build up that kind of a following.
Like, Well, the way I look at it at this point is we have a series of social media companies that are doing everything that they can to nuke their own platforms because they didn't think that at some point they would end up ideologues and that the other side that they were, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I have no idea what is up with a lot of corporations' fascinations to absolutely ruin their base. It is very weird to me.
I can tell you exactly what it is. It's all right. You have to look at what happened in 2008. See, in 2008, actually, it's more not so much 2008. It's like 2009, to be precise, when it started. About 2009, maybe even 2010 at the latest. But actually, no, it's 2009 because about 6-7 months into the Obama presidency, maybe, at most a year, all right? So maybe 2010, you had the Fast and Furious incident happen. Now, they tried putting that off onto the Bush administration. And when that didn't work, they switched the talking points to, it's just racism. And they never backed off that. Every time you had something to say that was against the Obama administration, it's just racism. And then they kept fanning those flames of intersectionality because those are the ones that were the most the intersectionality feminists and those who were a part of the cult. That is funny. DC fans united. Before I continue, Fast and Furious isn't the same without Paul Walker. Thanks, Obama. Very hilarious. Good joke. But Obama basically took intersectionality and made it a national thing, if you will.
Basically, he made it a political tool.
Yeah, because of the fact that he understood that people will follow whatever the talking points of the day are.
As Alex Jones would call them, they're not leaders, they're followers.
No, they really are. And it's kind of, oh man, that's cool. This is actually my first time within this game's Let's Pretend.
Okay.
But no, the whole thing that happened though with intersectionality is you had a bunch of people basically deflect everything with Obama to, you know what I mean? Zach Hawkins. We have a wild Zach Hawkins.
Hey, what up, guys?
How's it going, sir?
But
okay, how you doing?
I thought I lost my.
But
I'm like, no,
you're good.
You're starting to show off your game library here.
Yeah. But what happened though beyond that point is the far left started to embrace more intersectionality and take over the party. Hidden Tribes report shows that the Democrats now that are the most active are only 8% of the population, because the rest, the moderate Democrats, aren't. They pretty much felt burned after Obama. That's the best way to put it, because of the fact that they had
guns, gore, and Kenobi.
That game is a lot of fun.
Wow.
You're coming through real muffled, dude. But basically,
why Battlefront 2? Why? Why did you do it, man?
Hey, I got it for free, man. Everything was already fixed. Yeah, I know. EA is the devil, I know.
And I like that. Everyone's like, get him off of politics. Get him off of politics. I don't blame you. I'll talk.
Hey, DC Fans United. If you look at if I get my screen box, white box again, you're gonna see some DC titties.
DC titties.
Hey, Bob, you wanna give it a large?
I actually white boxed you while I was saying that.
Yeah, it's not showing up on this end.
Hey, and then again, I'm one of the few people that supports, as funny as it sounds. But
Power Girl, hang on a second.
Let's see.
Hang on, let me find it.
backward. Gorgonite Emissary says to you, Zach, judges you in Droid. DC fan says the DC titties are best titties.
Yeah, personally, I prefer my Battlefront 2 Classic on Steam.
Where do I put it?
Yeah,
there.
Let me. Let's see. Alt tab. Come on. Pop up my Steam, you monster. Alright, and this is going to be a bit tricky, but I could do it. Since you're mentioning Jew. I know it's backwards, but let me let me see. White box myself real quick. Give me a sec. And where did I just had it? There it is. There we go. Notice the skill?
Nice.
Yes.
Nice.
At
some point, we'll have to get into a game together on that.
It's funny because, like, I've been the whole reason why I got it is because I've heard nonstop good things about Battlefront 2.
It is so good.
There you go. You got your white box back, so you can show off that Power Girl titties. Just saying. I like that. Gorgonite says OG Battlefront 2 ate up years worth of hours back in the day.
Yes.
Loved it so much, and fuck EA for killing the real Battlefront 3.
Well, I don't think it was real. Was it the EA? No, I think Pandemic just like ran out of money.
I think let's see what else I had here.
More like
Captain Churchill.
What happened to Pandemic?
EA closed them down.
Yeah.
EA
and the game was like 98% completed or something like that.
It was. I think what originally happened. They got bought up by EA.
Oh, they were bought up by EA. Okay, then yeah, fuck EA.
Which EA then shut them down or shut down that.
EA shuts down everybody.
Yeah, EA just buys up companies, absorbs their properties, and then never does anything with them. Mercenaries. Oh man. Oh, sorry. The Saboteur.
I actually didn't know.
No idea why anyone at this point in time accepts being bought out by EA. It is pretty much a death sentence.
Oh, I know. Well, in some cases, they probably did hostile takeovers.
Oh boy.
I don't think I've actually done a Wonder Woman. Now that I think about it,
because this is.
I did a Vixen.
You know, but I need to. You know what? Oh, I know what I'm gonna do.
Oh no!
But just
everyone, Bob is getting ideas.
Yeah.
No,
hell.
Run!
Yes.
Run for your lives!
Hide your wives. Hide your kids.
It's a dark day when Bob starts getting ideas.
Oh,
Bob strikes back.
Shit.
Let's just make sure. Yeah.
God. Oh God, I don't remember how to play this song.
Let's see. Wait. Do they have the polar? I need to. Just because. Why not? I think.
This Guns, Gore, and Noli game actually has a pretty neat aesthetic to it.
Oh yeah, I played that. We actually, I played that with some friends. We actually beat that. But we were laughing the whole entire time. It was just.
Oh yeah, that's the good cannoli. Oh my God!
Leave the body. Check the
cannoli. I've not played this in about a half a year.
But man, that we die a lot. That game was actually pretty hard.
Oh God, yeah, it is.
Well,
jeez,
never even played it.
Never even heard of it until just now.
It's mobsters versus zombies and the army, apparently.
Mm-hmm.
So what you're saying is it is an accurate depiction of history.
Oh yeah.
I like that actually. Like, well, no lie. I mean, I just saw a massive fucking gangster. I'm going to have to Where is it? Oh, there it is. Oh man, that. I have to make. I'm gonna have to make a Red Hood character now. I'm going to have to make a Red Hood character.
Yeah, that's what your idea is. Make Red Hood.
No. I'm but that's for.
Well, I mean,
that's for later. I'm saying another character I got to do now. Like this character. Oh, I'm going to have to find. Okay, I got to go to it.
What do you have a Minecraft ad for?
Because it's one of the. Oh, I lost my hat. But yeah, it is one of the DLC bits that you get. All right. Where's the? All right, it's a store that I have hacked. That's why I don't gotta do it again. Because I'm really trying not to do too much until I get far enough into the game to warrant it. Planet Zen. Wrong button.
Yeah, a lot of my issues when it comes to the EA Battlefront games is that, technically speaking, it actually costs a lot more than the previous two games from Pandemic, and it doesn't even have half of the content that the original two games had.
Okay, so now I need 400.
Nice, outstanding. And
damn.
May I say that it doesn't matter. EA is still mishandling the properties that Pandemic had because, quite frankly, where's our third Mercenaries? Where's the second Saboteur? I'm just saying.
Yeah.
How was that Saboteur? I heard you guys talking about it last night, but never get to try that.
Oh, dude, that game is so much fun. It literally is. I'm just saying, you run around just basically killing Nazis.
And can I say like how much of a disappointment Battlefield 5 was?
Yes, you can.
Yes, you can.
And it's not even to the point of like the gameplay and the content of therein, but like even the message they wanted to try and do is pretty bad. Like I understand wanting to have like women in stuff, have a lot more women and stuff. That's fine, but if you're going to do a thing that's like World War II, why are you going to put a random woman amputee on the front line that has no story of her own when there were actually legitimate badass women in World War II? You could have put some screen time on. You could get them their time in the sun.
Because I think it was French revolutionaries and French spies. It was French spies, and then there were Russian snipers.
Yes, definitely the Russian snipers where at least one woman had over 1 to 500 confirmed kills.
Yeah, but I think it's because the whole Russia stuff that goes on today. I was like,
so because they're Russian women, they don't count.
Apparently so, I guess. Maybe that's my assumption. But
they even had Polish resistance fighters that were female tank commanders.
Oh yeah, no, you're as bad as it sounds, you're preaching to the choir here. But the problem is the fact that, quite frankly, when you're dealing with ideologues, they don't care about history. The dude didn't. You know what I mean? He didn't do his research into history.
Oh, no, he did not do any research at all whatsoever.
And
I may not be an absolute master when it comes to World War II history or even tank design history, but I'm pretty sure those tanks aren't really accurate either.
Mm-hmm. It literally, he wanted to make, as bad as it sounds, he wanted to make Fortnite turn Battlefield into Fortnite because they were seeing all the success that Fortnite was having. And
like you remember back in the day when it was really only Call of Duty that was the big World War II shooter, and they had an extensive research team.
Yeah. So, and my thing is that they decided to give her a prosthetic arm. I'm like,
that's
even worse.
No way.
Because even male soldiers got sent home once they lost a digit or two,
And there's no way.
Right.
have a prosthetic like agile enough to do something as complex as reloading a weapon.
Mm-hmm.
Never mind holding it and making sure it doesn't fly off in the middle of firing the damn thing.
And may I present to y'all? I need to get him a haircut and remove the tattoo. But may I present to you, Detective Spork?
Oh no!
I actually can't see him because your camera is up in the corner.
Yeah, your camera is blocking him actually.
He's probably trying to do a close up right now.
Yeah, let me step outside to where I got better light.
Oh hell yeah!
Yep, that's a Detective Spork.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I had to. I was like, I had the inspiration rather than let's pretend. I was like, wait a second, I can make a Detective Spork. It'll be freaking amazing.
Well, I guess now I finished that, so I guess I need something to draw. So I need to figure out what to draw.
I need to earn some money so I can commission some artists for some of my stuff that I want.
Commission me?
I don't have money though. Well, I mean, I technically I do have money, but the problem is I have to save it all for food and gas.
Same here. Actually, it's because I looked at my pantry. Like I'm down to ramen and some frozen chicken and the fish and I have. I think I can make maybe one more pitcher of tea and that's about it because I don't have enough sugar.
May I say they're taking?
Dude, I got screwed this month hard. Oh my heck! It's like damn.
Hey! You need sugar? Don't worry. I got some good contacts in Venezuela. I can hit you up.
You going to hell for that show. You going to hell. And to quote Cat Williams, Christians are always quick to tell you going to hell for some shit.
Oh, hang on, guys. I got a call.
Not a problem.
Oh, damn.
Hey, you know, that's the game I think it is. I think I was playing that actually. Let me take a look.
Oh, the Deep Rock Galactic, the Dwarven mining in space.
Yes, the Steam had it free to play for a couple days, and I checked it out. It wasn't too bad.
I enjoy it. I go caving occasionally, so this game is actually pretty cool as far as like how they generate the caves. A lot of it is like true to life sometimes. Obviously, not the monsters and the dwarves, but you know, some of the formations and whatnot.
But let's see to get caught up on chat. Russians had a ton of female soldiers. Yes, they did. Poland had female resistance fighters. Holland and France too. Battlefield 5 makes my blood boil as a World War II history enthusiast.
Ooh.
I'm right there with you. And Sporkman radio show special, the Red Spork featuring the Green Hornet. Let's just say that
I would still love to be a part of that project.
Oh, dude, Detective Spork is coming. I'm just saying, Detective Spork is coming. I'm working on the script. Like I actually had been working on the script all day today. Didn't get too far because I'm really trying to get like the right lingo. I'm trying to word everything right, and I also
you're trying to get that 20s. I'm going to say feel
30s. Mid-30s to be precise, and at the same time I also worked. I don't know if you've seen it yet, but I did a promo for Sporkman.
I haven't seen that yet.
Oh, dude, which I should let me drop that in chat. Actually, show that off. I'm proud of that. I'm really freaking proud of that. Actually,
I'll probably check it out tomorrow.
Oh yeah, but it was one of those. I told Spork I'd do it because, you know, do my part to help out the Spork. You know what I mean?
Right.
And I was like, all right, I didn't exactly know what I was going to do for the promo, and just then the thought hit me. I should just go ahead and, especially since I'm going to do the Detective Spork as the narrator, I should just stick to the narrator voice and give it a very like full-blown, like old-timey radio sounding feel. And it's just, oh, dude, like I said, I'm proud of it. The fact
if you'd have had a tin horn to speak into, that would have been the only way you could have improved that. And definitely picked up on that old time radio.
Mm-hmm.
It was nice.
Right? It was fun. Like, I didn't mind working on it. It's one of those, and really, I'm hoping if more people ask me to do promos for them, I might actually be able to start doing legit commissions to do it. You know what I mean? And just be creative in how I do the promos. Just give me you know what I mean, and actual source of income would be awesome. Let's see, and to continue on, Gorgonite Emissary to Space Dwarves, the concept doesn't get nearly enough love. It really, and when it did, I'm still kind of I thought it was funny because they did hire Peter Dinklage to do it in in Endgame.
Oh God!
To play the Space Dwarf.
Peter Dinklage is in this? What? Wait, no. Oh. I thought Endgame. Okay, I don't know what you were talking about for a minute.
Dwarves are the master race.
Sorry, Sonny, and did not see if I get it.
Well, for me, I've always when it comes to fantasy, Dark Elves, man, Drow, just because they generally have, depending on the game you play, mind you, but most games, they have a natural stealth buff, and I like that.
So do the Draugr, I think. I think the Draugr have natural stealth buffs. I mean, hell, I think even the Draugr blend with stone, I think.
But, to me, that's just, let's see, Gorgonite says, I love how there's an obscure blooper to some 1930s movie where it shows the male actors breaking out of that voice. Yeah, I believe it. I think you're saying breaking out in that voice. But, I mean, it's just...
Jesus Christ.
To me, it struck me, and y'all are going to laugh at where I got learned how to do it. Legend of Korra.
I can see that.
Just because I listened to it and I was like, I thought that was one cool thing. I will admit that I really did like about Legend of Korra is the way they had that. They stuck to the 1930s-esque feel. Even though there's so much, I have things that bother me about Korra, but it's more because I understand, things like how a planet is structured, how a species will develop, a species like ours, like humans, would develop on a planet like that and whatnot. And it's
especially considering benders are practically free energy.
Mm-hmm. Well, the thing that bothers me is the way they've shown the planet and the land mass and everything, and the amount of time it's taken them to travel between areas. They'll go from the Antarctic to Republic City, which is basically around the equator, right? In about 2-3 weeks. Even with the technology we have now, to cross that space would take more than 2-3 weeks. It'd take about 5 to 6 weeks, and they were traveling, you know what I mean, that distance in a couple weeks, and it's wait, no, that you do realize that means you'd have a predominantly, because of how small it is, you'd have, how do I explain it? One, you'd have issues with, because of the size of the planet, it would be less likely to support life, because the smaller the planet, the harder it is to prevent, for it to hold a moon and things like that, tidal control, things like that. There's so much more that goes into it, and if it is bigger, here's the thing: if the writer just didn't really put the thought into it, and it was a oopsie, and it's actually bigger than it seems, then where's the white people? You have in the extremes, Europeans. Reason why they developed the way they did is because of the fact that Europe is far enough from the equator that the white people didn't require the higher level of melanin for protection against the sun. So if it's a bigger,
you didn't see the white people? They were in the movie.
Really? Well, are you talking the live action movie?
Yeah, the live action movie.
Yeah, no, that. I'm just no. I'm talking in the shows. The shows, they don't show. You see everything from Asian to like Polynesian things like that, and if it's a bigger planet,
they even went a bit they went like a bit Inuit, a bit like the Eskimos.
Yeah, and it's like, do you not understand how planets form and how species? Wait, of course they don't. I put too much thought into these things.
Yeah, it's not really supposed to be the whole point. It's supposed to be an entire Asian aesthetics thing, so
yeah,
just not much other thought put into it.
Yeah,
which is fine. Normally I nitpick that kind of stuff too, but it doesn't affect the story overall, so I don't see that big of an issue.
Oh no, I'm not saying. I love fucking Legend of Korra, and I still need to get through all of Last Airbender. Like we're talking, I would have to say my favorite season of Korra. I'm torn between the second and third.
Right.
Like just because of everything that happened between those two seasons, the fourth season I felt like they were just trying to shoehorn in a lot of politics into the fourth season because they felt like they could.
I still say that instead of doing a condensation of the entire first season, what they should have done was basically take the Zuko manga comic thing and make that into a movie.
Is it just
because a lot of people who aren't interested in graphic novels are probably never going to read them, and there's so many people who want to find out what happened to Zuko's mom.
And may I say that I think it's Suka. Like Suka doesn't get nearly. That's the chick that Aang marries. That's her brother, right? I think that's his name.
Sokka.
Thank you. He doesn't get any love, man. Like
of course not.
Like
he was supposed to be the comedic relief, but now he's like the super serious downer. It's like
dude,
what?
He like. I'm sorry, but that dude was a badass. He didn't need bending abilities to do shit.
He wound up being like the best military leader in the world at that time. It was like, what the hell, man? What happened to you? Why are you this awesome?
I give them credit for what I'm saying, in like Legend of Korra, they tell you, they give you a lot of what happens to practically everyone but him.
Yeah.
And it's like, really? What? Because he wasn't a bender, he doesn't get any love? Fuck you guys.
Chances are he probably just chilled out on Kyoshi Island and just didn't do much of anything else. He just wanted to chill.
Well, he was highly involved in Republic City. Like, they touched on that he was highly involved in it and so on and so forth. But beyond that, they didn't give him any... They didn't... Okay, so they showed him in a few flashbacks, but where everyone else got more than a few flashbacks, they got, like... For instance, Toph. You know what happened to Toph. You know exactly. They even made sure to throw her in a few scenes. You know what happened to Aang. You know what happened to the chick. I can't remember her name.
Who are you talking about?
Sokka's sister.
Katara.
Thank you. You know what happened to Katara and whatnot, but Sokka just. They gave him no love, and I'm like, come on, man. He was a part of the original 4. You got.
He was one of the major actors in dethroning Azula.
Mm-hmm. They even touched on the Fire King's son, the one that has the scar, and it was really cool. Like he started out a dick, but by the end, Zuko. Yes, thank you. Like they even gave him a lot of, showing.
He was the redeemed villain turned brother.
And it's like, but Sokka doesn't get any, man. Fuck you guys.
He literally went from Aang's like #1 worst rival to his brother practically.
They were best friends. Like you could tell, like whenever even in Legend of Korra, whenever he talked about Aang, you could see it in his face that he missed his friend. And it's like, oh. But
damn, that is rough.
Never got to see any of that, but I've always heard good things about both of those series.
And I'm back.
Oh, word. And Gorgonite says Sokka went from some dork with a boomerang from Igloo Land to being an accomplished war strategist with badass meteor sword. See?
Rip meteor sword, never to be found again. That was I cried when he dropped that sword.
It's like
that was a great sword.
No,
that sword deserved better.
Right. And it's like I said, dude. My one complaint is it doesn't, like I said, it doesn't stick to proper planets like structure, things like that, and like how life would actually develop on like it's a bigger planet. But
other
than that is purely
Chakra's spirit world.
Yeah, and Sokka, like how Sokka got done. Those are my 2 complaints about the 2 series. But well, granted, I haven't seen all of The Last Airbender. I've seen all of season 1 and part of season 2.
It gets very dark in the later seasons.
I know. I've heard. I'm just like we got it on Blu-ray. I just haven't. Man, I'm unfortunately from years.
I say that, but in season 3 you get Sparky Boom Boom Man.
Right.
Yeah.
But no, the what I was about to say, the years of PC gaming has made it to where I have to the only reason why I was able to sit down and watch Reign of the Superman today, because 1, it was only like an hour and a half long, and 2, it Reign of the fucking Superman, man. And may I say, I liked how they did that. Like, for those of us who read the Death and Return of Superman back in the 90s, I like how they altered it enough to make it to where it wasn't just a carbon copy of what you saw, but at the same time, it was good. I thought they did a fantastic job on that. And if you haven't seen it, I suggest you watch it. But to get back to what I was saying, I have a hard time if it's not like Futurama, as bad as that sounds. If it's not Futurama, I'm not going to sit down and spend hours watching it. Futurama, I can sit hours technical. Oh.
This is applied science, okay.
But, no, Futurama is just... come on, Korra's not trashed. Season 4 is kind of I think they could have done a lot better for season 4. Karai was an interesting character. I think she was mismanaged. I think they could have done better than a big giant robot fight. Okay.
Robot fight.
Well,
I think it's when they decided to wipe out all the Avatar state. When they decided to wipe out the Avatar state, I'm like, okay, all right. It's I'm pretty sure that the Avatar state was supposed to be some kind of a balance.
Well, my whole thing is you're like, I do agree that was a bad decision. I'm not gonna argue that. I'm sorry, you're talking about God creatures. You can't. How do you wipe out the memories of a god? Explain that to me. I'm just that I do agree. I didn't even think.
I would understand if they found a way to cut her off in a way that is. Because they did it to Aang, and then I know they did it to her at one point, but it just kind of felt like they could have saved that type of thing that happened to Korra and leave it to the spirit thing, because that would have actually made more sense.
Yeah, but let's see.
No, we got a revenue.
either way, I guess. No, we're not all geeks in this live stream. No, not at all. None of us.
Not a bit.
None of us.
Perish the thought.
Perish thy thought.
None of us watch like a lot of cartoons and anime. Well, I'm not a big anime guy. That's mainly, although I will say Devil is a Part-Timer was amazing, and I'm still mad that only got one season.
I have been watching way too many animes recently. There's just so many that I have to watch.
I read a lot more manga and some anime here and there.
I really haven't had the time to really read manga a whole lot because I'm still busy with school. But yeah, I could watch a few episodes of anime every once in a while.
Dude, I have the I have one of the books for the Saber Remnant J. If you want to talk about that's the manga for you.
Right now, the two animes I'm trying to keep up with at the moment is Rising of the Shield Hero and Promised Neverland.
Well, I caught up with Rising of the Shield Hero, and I'm still on Goblin Slayer.
Oh, yeah, I also caught up with Goblin Slayer, and I also caught up with that time I got reincarnated as a slime. That one
I haven't seen yet.
It's pretty good. The only complaint that I have about it is that it blazes through the arcs way too fast, but it's definitely a feel-good kind of anime.
I don't know. I mean, I guess the idea I had in my mind when I was doing my comic was that I would approach it like one did his comic for One Punch Man. Is that I would draw it, I would do all the comic, and then I would get a more talented artist, manga artist, I'm sorry. And he would, go through the whole story and just make everything fucking more awesome than it should be. Like, fuck yes, that's what needs to happen.
I'm actually looking for a couple things to be stacked.
Yeah, I am still definitely in love with Rising of the Shield Hero. I love the anime so much that I actually went on my way to read up as much of the manga as I could and got caught up on that as well.
Well, I don't know. I get they're starting to do a lot. I forgot what it's called, but I like the idea that there's a manga. I forgot what it was called. I guess the idea is that what they're doing now is they're taking everybody that, like, say they're taking people from our reality and they're tossing them into fantasy realities and so on and so forth. I forgot what the genre is called. Isekai.
Yeah, the first isekai the first isekai I've ever seen was Dot Hack, and Dot Hack was pretty great.
Mm-hmm.
You are speaking Greek to me.
This dude's got a badass suit.
Mm-hmm.
Like I will be the first to know speaking pure Greek to me.
It's like the only isekai I never really enjoyed a whole lot was Sword Art Online. I was never into that.
Which is funny because I have the Sword Art Online abridged is fucking amazing.
Yeah, the abridged is pretty hilarious, but I just don't really like the original a whole lot.
I know that denotes a type of anime or manga. What does that actually mean?
Isekai?
Yeah.
Isekai, what it is, I don't know what the direct translation is, but it is what's used to describe anime that's about real, actual people being put into different worlds based off of video games. And the world kind of acts
or just something fantasy in general.
Okay, yeah, no.
Yeah, so you have like Dot Hack, Sword Art Online,
it's funny.
The Rise of the Shield Hero is probably a better example of that.
Yeah,
more recent example. I'm sorry.
Well, and what's funny is like one of the things. The whole reason why I watched Devil is a Part-Timer is because it was. I found out it's what is referred to as a reverse isekai, and a buddy might have that reminded me about it, and I was like, a buddy might have told me that shit was fucking amazing that I needed it in my life. So I was like, all right, I'll watch it.
I've only read the anime, so it stops at a certain point. So I don't know if there's a manga for it, and that goes beyond the point of the anime.
Okay, so Korra as a whole series retcons the entire mythology of Avatar, from how the spirit world works to how Avatar cycle works, and represents to even the bending. It is trash. Okay, I really do have to watch the Last Airbender now, like all of it. But no, I was actually give me a second, I'm still in the white box real quick. Well, not that anyone had it, but basically some things I found amongst my collection that I think y'all will enjoy. Okay, so Chana.
No.
You see that?
Nope.
Bruce.
Bruce Lee.
Oh, hey, Bruce Lee. Nice.
I didn't even know they had Bruce Lee comic. This is these are comics a buddy of mine gave me. Same as apparently they have Chana.
Apparently he has a mullet.
Yeah, the Aliens graphic novel that he was trying to make space. Now this.
Speaking of Bruce Lee, it's actually kind of funny because at the moment I'm gonna be joining a campaign on Sunday. Like I'm switching out a character that I play on in the Sunday game into a different character, so I can test out a system I've been wanting to do for a martial arts based tabletop game.
Nice.
Interesting.
But and
Batman.
The Dark Knight Returns. And before Halo got a comic, like a legit comic.
Nice.
Nice.
It is funny y'all were talking about anime, manga, or and whatnot. The I was like, man, I'm not big into anime, but man, I do have some good finds that I did come across when I was trying to go through my stuff.
I really need to read the Promised Neverland manga, because apparently that gets pretty good, just like the anime.
Like I said,
it was a manga where the well, I guess it was a human that something happened and he ends up as a spirit in the fantasy world, and then he discovers he can control animals. He can control like certain things, like animals and so on and so forth.
This sounds familiar.
So as he progresses, he goes from a rat to kind of a scorpion thing to this thing to a wolf, and then he just keeps going on. It's a pretty good series, and they did little mysteries here and there, and it was pretty fun. And then and of course it was fun right into the end where they decided to go, oh hey, we're gonna go itchy on y'all.
Oh no.
I'm like,
you want to guess what has to be like the first anime I ever watched was? And no, it's not Dragon Ball or Dragon Ball Z.
Mm-hmm.
Wolf's Rain. That is a great anime.
Well, technically, we all watched Japanimation stuff when it came to Transformers and
yes. Except for me, it was
Transformers, G.I. Joe, Thundercats. That's all anime, man.
I never really watched Transformers, G.I. Joe, or Thundercats early in my days.
And
I'm just saying though, if you even actually seen them, you've seen anime, because those are technically animes.
No, I haven't watched those until way later.
Oh yeah, and may I say, I actually didn't watch any of those. I watched Voltron, damn it. Get it right. And Nausicaa.
I meant to say that too. I'm sorry.
And Nausicaa and the Valley of the Wind, when it first was released in the 80s as Warriors of the Wind.
My first anime movie was Spirited Away.
I can still Studio Ghibli.
Yeah. But there's things that I watched a lot more of their movies, and they got a lot of great movies.
Yeah, the funny thing is there is a lot of anime in Mexico, because I caught a Magic Earth Magic Raid Earth Knights.
And I believe after Spirits Away, I watched Kiki's Delivery Service, which was also pretty good.
And then I think the other one was Saint Seiya.
Right.
But over there, it's called Los Caballeros de Norte, the Men of the North, or something like that.
And I now have a Sportmobile.
Nice.
I just need to get the colors right.
I was gonna say, I think the first anime I was ever exposed to was back when Sci-Fi Channel used to know how to spell their name right. And would play the Saturday anime. Yeah, dude. Robot Carnival, Tank Police. God, what else did they show?
I got in
Vampire Hunter
during
D.
the Toonami era.
Don't forget Crying Freeman. They showed those movies. They also showed.
Yeah. I can't. It's been so long ago.
Actually, I had to trick my mom as a kid, and I got her to rent me Ghost in the Shell.
Oh,
nice.
That was my first rental.
Nice.
And you know, there's nothing wrong with Ghost in the Shell. There's nothing wrong with Ghost in the Shell. My parents didn't care if I watched Ghost in the Shell, even with the nudity, because of the fact that it was the message behind it. I guess you could say the whole anime was pretty good. It wasn't meant to be like, you know what I mean? It'd have been different if it was like, you know, they were grabbing up on her titties or his titties. Technically, if I remember right, because remember he's technically the guy in that show. So, and
I sort of love how everyone flipped out at Scarlett Johansson being Makoto in the live-action movie. But when I saw like the reveal of her, I'm like, holy shit, she actually looks a little bit like the Major.
Yeah.
Why are people flipping out over this?
Because they don't know that effing source material is why. They don't know that the Major's ghost preferred a more European shell, so she would pick a more European-looking body. They just flip their shit for no reason.
That was basically just anime at the time in general, taking a lot of European influences.
Oh yeah, well that, and it actually said in the books too, you know, in the manga, that she, you know, her brain preferred a more European look, even though she was technically a Japanese, I guess.
Well, the thing that bothers me is like even the creator of Ghost in the Shell came out in defense of the live action movie. Said no, that was the idea. La da 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 da, and the SJW said no, he's wrong.
Almost every natural Japanese citizen, like Tokyo, was like, well, if you want Japanese people to be a part of the movie, then petition a Japanese studio to make it.
There you go.
There you go. And then
an American film made in an American studio. Why are y'all so upset about this?
Because they try to do the same thing to Alita, and I'm like, you are aware that Alita is set in Kansas, right?
Oh yeah. But
they don't bother to look it up. They just got outraged.
But whitewashing.
Yeah.
See, and this is the thing I will say is a flaw with this game. I didn't want to do that. I wanted to do something else, but now I have to go there because it won't go the fuck away.
Yeah.
You'll have to excuse my camera jumping around. I've literally got my phone sitting on a pillow in my lap. A little phone stand, and it's pointing at my TV. So.
Yeah,
there we go.
So what's this, like a new
thing?
And of course, everyone's jumping from the car.
I might have to figure something better out.
Is it like Plants vs. Zombies, but as a 3D shooter?
It is. It's Garden Warfare 2, and it's free this month.
Huh.
Okay.
So I figured, what the hell? You know, why not? I believe it says in my family crest, actually, if it's free, it's for me.
What drives me nuts, actually, is it's funny you mentioned that. All right, I got the first Plants vs Zombies on the on Origin back when they would still do the on the house, and then like I'd say about a year ago, Origin decided we're gonna stop doing that. We're just gonna, if you want games from us, you gotta like free games. You gotta do it's not even free games. It's you have to, you know what I mean? You have to get their Origin service. I don't remember what they call it.
What it's like with every virtual gamer service, online gamer service app being like absolute shit nowadays. Even Steam is starting to dip down again.
I can tell you exactly what it is. It's the fact that,
and it's not even just like culture war specific stuff. It's like even just basic business, economical, and even information ethics stuff.
Well, I can for me, what I figure happened with Steam is the fact that, like what's happened with a lot of companies, that they were slowly, I guess you could say, what's the word? Infiltrated by SJWs, who do what SJWs do best. They made like they got
right now the Epic store is like getting slammed super hard about selling customer info to China. Yeah.
Shit.
And are you really surprised? Once again, SJWs, man, they don't really give a shit.
I was gonna say all of the major telecom companies just hand all their info over to the NSA every year. So
yeah.
No warrants, nothing.
And here you go, give us money.
Remember when, the various left, or I should say when the left in general was against these practices, was against, like, I'm sorry, Mark Zuckerberg a decade ago coming out and saying that he sold your information to these different groups and sold your information to China and things like that. The left would be outside of Facebook right now protesting, Twitter right now protesting, all these various things, and now it's like, oh well, my tribalism, my hate speech, my
I love how like the most anti-corporatist political side, I guess you call them, are also the ones that say, oh, it's the company's rights as private individuals not to have to abide by the First Amendment.
I don't know, man. It's weird because a couple of years ago, I never would have had anybody come up and say, "Hey, man, your English is good." I literally had that happen. He's like, "Hey, man, your English is good."
Weren't you born and raised in America?
No, I'm here from Texas. I was born here. I was like,
I'm sorry. I'm here from Texas. It almost is a different place.
Yeah, I'm like, apparently Texas is different. Is a different nation as a nation unto itself, because apparently
like it's big enough to be one on its own.
And I'm like.
I'm pretty sure it's even in like the Texas state constitution that they have the right to secede at any time they ever wish to.
Yeah, we do. We actually do. And I'm like, why don't you just do it? We have the right to succeed. Literally, we can do it at any point in time. And not give an absolute rat ass what y'all do. And we will most likely shut the border.
Probably.
And what's funny is y'all would literally, like, as bad as it sounds, and people aren't going to like this, y'all would round up the far lefties that are causing problems in Texas and be like, get the fuck out. We don't want you to go back to California where you came from.
Right now, they swarmed Austin, and they're trying to do it to Houston.
Yeah. I've heard it's getting bad there.
But they're trying to do to Texas what they did in... They did to California what they, or at least in a lot of ways, did to Colorado what they did to California. Jacked up the prices, made all, like, everything's bad there. Like, you have a bunch of far lefties that have taken over the state when the Colorado's like...
It's heavy taxes. It is literally dropping people to their knees.
Yeah, but the thing is, outside of Denver and Fort Collins, like you can kind of count Greeley and let me rephrase that: Colorado Springs, Denver, and Fort Collins. Pueblo and Greeley are almost big enough, but the rest of the state is mainly rural, and these individuals will sit there, and these leftists have made it for they pretty much force the will onto the rural areas in the state that needs guns, that needs this and that. But, you know, but what about the Aurora shooting and no, what happened? Let's talk about the Aurora shooting. Let's talk about the fact that there's so many things with that instance that doesn't make sense. How does a med student?
I know. I love how they over embellish the idea that the mass shootings happen every freaking day. I'm like, they do not happen every day.
I would love I like to see a lot of these lefties try to hold a conversation about gun laws to roof Koreans. I think that would go very well.
Right. I mean,
you do not take guns away from roof Koreans.
Well, but the point I'm making is the fact that these individuals, they're trying to push their ideology on the rest of the state, and then they're moving to Texas and they're trying to do the same thing there.
Oh no.
Yeah, as Tim Pool says, we are in the midst of a civil war. It's just not a civil war with guns and swords.
Not yet.
The funny thing is that here in Texas, we have a law that allows us to carry knives, machetes, swords.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Open carry. We can literally open carry that shit.
And here in Oklahoma, they just passed constitutional carry, so you don't need a permit as long as you are legally allowed to own the firearm. You can legally carry it around. Like,
I think here in Mississippi, the only thing that you really need in order to get a gun is you just don't need to have a criminal record. That's about it.
And if I remember right, it was Missouri, not Mississippi, it was Missouri that just made it to where federal gun laws do not apply within the state.
Ooh, nice.
Like,
big oof to centralized government.
Well, the thing is like I've stated time and again, really the way the Constitution was written, it's supposed to be city.
We could have. Well, I mean, the only thing I would really restrict would be nuclear weapons, because that's just a stupid idea. That's a.
But wait, don't you know the U.S. government has legit nukes? What is our shitty little firearms going to do against a legit nuke?
If y'all, these people have never heard of Vietnam either.
Yeah.
I'm actually
how outclassed were the VC, and they still won.
Yeah, they still won that trade.
We pulled out of that.
It didn't have the luxury that the U.S. government couldn't bomb them because it was because it's U.S. territory.
Well, no, what I was pointing out is the fact that y'all remember that I think that was like before the midterms, Swalwell saying that.
Mm-hmm.
Because he's like, oh, you don't need guns, blah, 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 blah. And then he said, our government has legit nukes. What's your firearms going to do against that? And it's like,
oh yeah,
what government is going to nuke their own homeland? That's a retarded move.
Man, if shit got bad enough, I wouldn't put it past them.
They would.
Wouldn't.
Yeah, I wouldn't put it past them. But the thing is that I think a lot of the
saying it out loud was
because a lot of soldiers would probably disobey the government right off the bat.
You would hope.
And then there's like 33 million legit gun owners that are not military and what have you.
Yeah, remember,
not all of them are military, and all of them are pretty good shots, and none of them suffer from PSD and so on and so forth.
One of the reasons why Japan went after Pearl Harbor instead of just attacking the mainland is because a war advisor to the emperor was like, okay, look, listen, for every blade of grass in America, there's a man with a gun. You don't want to do that. Just bomb the harbor.
And the stupid thing was that they were trying to prevent the United States from entering into World War II.
Yeah, but by doing
that's what gravitated.
Now we have no choice but to retaliate. We would have been just as happy to not get involved, but you kind of forced us.
Yeah, had they not done that, we might have actually started out of that war.
Well, you can go on the Pentagon.gov and see where they admit now that, we were kind of warned about that 3 days in advance, and we let it happen so that we could have had more reason to get into the war. And old crazy shit like that happens a lot.
Oh, yeah. And the thing that gets me about that is...
There was no surprise about it.
No, there really isn't. I mean, people like it. What I find funny is people sit there and be like, Theodore or Franklin Theodore Roosevelt, FDR, such a great president. Franklin Delano Roosevelt prolonged the Great Depression. He purposely had put in embargoes against the Japanese to where it put them in such a financial bind because of their treatment of the Chinese, so he could have an excuse to get into war with them. For them to attack us and give us an excuse to go into the Mediterranean or the Pacific, and then I can't believe I said that, but and then, mind you, we didn't want to get it was unpopular to get involved, even in the war in Europe, and they used the war.
Yeah, because at the time, America was like super isolationist. We were just happy minding our own business, enjoying the roaring 20s that crashed down in the 40s.
Well, it's more like in the 30s, and we just pulled ourselves out of the Depression. We weren't trying to get into a damn war. We were just trying to do our own thing, leave us the hell alone. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we were just trying to get back to the 20s. We just wanted to mind our own damn business.
But no, of course not. They had to make sure that FDR had to let the attack happen so we could.
And then to add insult to injury, we had the draft for World War II.
Because it was one of those. There were people
because not only are they going to make us go to war against our wills, they're going to make us fight against our wills too.
Well, there were a lot of people that signed up out of a sense of civic duty. I'm not going to sit there and downplay that, the fact that happened. But at the same time, you have a situation where there were people who literally did not want anything to do with the war.
Yeah, they didn't want to take part in Europe and Asia's problems.
But it's like, when you look at everything going on in the country at the time, it does make you kind of just facepalm and go, whatever, dude, just whatever. I'm just gonna be over here and I wanna find my own business, because quite frankly, we were getting involved. We were sticking our fingers in situations that we shouldn't have been sticking our fingers into. Let's just pure and simple.
And let's not forget a lot of controversial territory shenanigery also in Africa also occurred as a result of World War II.
You also have the fact of we pretty much, because of World War II, we pretty much became the new imperialistic power, because we told England, no empires, no more. Then we turned around and started doing the exact same shit.
Yeah, we had territories everywhere.
Hey, I'll tell you, isn't it great how we're still all paying income tax, even though that was just supposed to fund World War II and be ended afterward? That's fantastic.
That's why I say there is no such thing as slippery slopes. With people, they can at least stand pat. They can stand fast in their convictions to not slope. But with governments, it is a steep cliff fall. As soon as they're allowed to do one thing, they're going to keep doing it every single time.
Yeah, and one of the things that still bothers me, about everything is. I'm sorry, I just wanted to stretch my legs and everything, walk around for a second. Basically, my left leg's been dislocated for 2 months.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't even realize. I was wondering why I was having problems with my light. Didn't even realize it until about 3 weeks ago. And I've been like today. I got tired of it and been trying to reset it. So now I have this. You get the idea. I can only sit for so long, but back on topic. And you also have the fact that you have a situation where basically when you go into like the taxes and whatnot, it's like I said it before. JFK had ended the Federal Reserve, which effectively ended income tax, like majority of the taxing, except for in the case of like businesses, which is the way our tax code was originally set up. It was originally only businesses paid taxes. The money we made working a job or whatever, that money was entirely ours. And then you have the Federal Reserve come in, and then that's where we stopped having like gold and silver backed notes, and it became pretty much
fiat currency, they call it.
Like
not actually backed by anything.
It became like proto cryptocurrency, pretty much.
It pretty much did. But
other fun fact, you know that the only 3 millionaires in the U.S. to oppose the Federal Reserve being formed all just happened to be on the Titanic and went down with the ship.
Just so happened. Yeah.
Odd, isn't it? Yeah.
Well, just funny how coincidences like that happen.
Yeah, yeah. Just thought I'd throw that out there for anyone that hadn't heard.
Oh no, I wouldn't be surprised. I mean,
IDW publisher for sale.
Well, it's like I've stated. The first thing that Lyndon B. Johnson did when he became president after Kennedy's assassination, literally first thing. Kennedy's body technically isn't even cold at this point. He repealed Kennedy's executive order to end the Federal Reserve.
His wife still had brain matter all over her.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What did he do?
He repealed JFK's executive order ending the Federal Reserve.
Oh.
Yep. And then you have.
And I think I saw like a picture of like Lyndon B. Johnson like walking beside Mrs. Kennedy while still coated in her husband's blood, like looking back and smiling at this guy that was like winking at him, who was I can't remember what exactly it was, but he's like one of the major people when it came to the Federal Reserve.
Yeah, and it's one of those, when you really look at it, everything that surrounds like Kennedy and his assassination, there's a reason why. It's been almost 60 years later. Actually, it's been over 60 years later. Come think about it. Or, almost. Give me a sec. It would be 60 in 2023. So, yeah, almost 60 years. All right, been over 50 years. And people are still talking about the assassination of JFK and how a lot of the official narrative just does not hold up to scrutiny, and how anyone who's paid attention to that, like paid attention to history and actually looked into it, that no one actually buys the official narrative.
It's sort of like what I mentioned last Sunday during the political show. At one point in time, there's enough circumstantial evidence that something credible starts appearing.
Mm-hmm. And especially when you look at the fact that the CIA purposely got involved and prevented the
local police,
the FBI,
FBI
from properly investigating JFK's death and making sure that certain things, you know what I mean.
Speaking of FBI, you heard about the latest development with Justice Smollett, right?
Yep. Yes, I did.
Yeah.
He let his ass walk.
Well, and then you have the fact that, all right, he's now being investigated. Well, they
practically had his ass dead to right. I mean,
okay. This is how it's going to go. If they get Jesse Smollett on anything, it's going to be...
Me being a French guy, every time I read his name, I want to say Smollett.
I think that's actually how you're supposed to...
Yeah. So it like triggers me every time I have to say it or I hear someone say it as Smollett instead of Smollett. It's like,
yeah.
But no, that's not how you say that.
But I'm not going to give him the respect of saying his name right.
Yeah.
There you go.
But, just because of the shit he pulled. But no, what I was about to say is basically what happened there is if they do get him on anything, it's going to be federally, and it's going to be on the letter that got sent through the mail, that the Osanaro brothers sent through the mail, targeting him because double jeopardy laws. They can't get him on the 16, 17, felony accounts that...
Well, that could
actually that can bite him back in the butt.
Change because the FBI is now involved, and we don't know how, but somehow the FBI managed to get like all pieces of evidence and all pieces of documentation involved in this case, despite the fact that the judge sealed the entire case as closed. And the Chicago Police Department is like, we have no idea why this happened.
Oh yeah. Oh no, I understand that, but the point I'm making is, oh yeah, but the point I'm making is because of double jeopardy laws. That all his lawyer has to say is double jeopardy laws. He can't be tried for the same crime twice, even if he did plead out.
Evidence does show up.
Well, from what I understand is that they wiped it to the point where it's like it never happened. So technically, they should still be able to try him for the same thing because they decided to wipe the whole entire case.
It's sort of how they got OJ. He can get retrialed for the crimes if new evidences appear in the case.
I don't think so. I think they specifically wrote it that way so the government couldn't, we found new evidence and keep trying to retry you for the same crime. It was specifically written that way to prevent that from happening. Because over in England, think about it. Take, for instance, I think it was the Tommy Robinson case, actually. Tommy Robinson, he was cleared. They weren't going to do anything. But we found new evidence, so they arrested him and trying to, especially right after he releases the panorama talking about the collusion between the activist group and the BBC. I can't remember the name of the activist group. It's like something Hope, I think, but and so because of that we specifically have laws to prevent that from happening. But what they can get him on is the letter, because that's federal. That didn't fall under the initial the local probe, because the local probe was all about the basically staging a hate crime and things like that. So he has
the letter. He can get hit for conspiracy.
Yes, he can. And the Osanaro brothers will probably roll on him there again because, quite frankly, they're not stupid. And let's be honest,
they're not stupid, but Jesse really is.
He is, dude.
No, I mean. He should have just took a bullet and was like, yeah, I'll go to jail.
I still can't believe he had the gonads to go on camera and say that he was innocent the entire time. He's been truthful and consistent the entire way through.
I mean, too bad he was an actor and not a writer that thought that story up. He might have actually come up with something believable.
If he was a writer, he would have had done things better.
I held on to my sandwich.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, my God, that's the last thing I'm grabbing.
Stuff he was making up just made it. I mean, everything he's done so far has made it worse. And I'm honestly like, yeah, man, I think you just made it worse for people who are trying. When a hate crime really does happen, they're going to question it now.
Not only that, but he also practically insulted every victim of hate crime in the past, as well as other people who have suffered legitimate racial disparities just so that their children today could live in equality.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. I know.
It has set back race relations for decades.
Yeah, it's stupidity. Just like, oh man.
Well,
and all for a few extra $1,000 on his already sizable check.
And then just to make, like I said, the fact that he got acquitted. I mean, not even acquitted. They just erased it.
Like all charges are dropped, but he's not exonerated.
Exactly.
Like,
what? How does that work?
All charges are dropped, but he's not exonerated. Okay. X to doubt.
So that means he's technically guilty, and he got away with it.
Yep. Yes, sir. And
that's what tells everybody. And the thing is, if he's done something else, or there's something else more, like if it connects back to because they're talking about him being connected to other political parties and what have you, trying to be president and so on and so forth. He's dragging them into this. He should have just not did it to begin with.
Well, you also have the fact that, like, if I remember correctly, he all the Empire, all his co-stars on Empire, none of them like him anymore. Because
everyone was disgusted with what happened.
Because of the fact,
and I think it was shown that he was only going to be on for the show just to finish off the season, just so his character could get a send off. He doesn't show up again or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
But now and then you have the fact that the NCAACP has recently
announced they're going to give him an award. So you can see that it's like, okay, nobody's that stupid. We can see that you're trying to lay it on thick to make this guy sound like he's no.
Oh no! It literally is the fact that what they're doing is they're giving him he's nominated for award.
He's nominated for the NAACP
or whatever the heck. Yeah.
And what's even worse is the fact that, I think it's Anthony Anderson said during the announcement, he was like, "Well, something like they always get these things. They generally get these things wrong. It's good to see justice because, they get these things wrong, especially when you're a person of color and this, that, and the other." And it's like, oh my fucking God, you really.
You're going with that defense.
Yeah,
dude, he's got more white privilege than I have. My ass would have been rotting under the jail if I'd have gotten busted on something like that.
Right? I would have gone to jail.
Hell.
Freaking class privilege, man.
Oh yeah.
He does Karl Marx some great injustice today.
Yeah.
And what really bothered me about it is okay, you really just screwed your own party's talking points. You realize that?
Yeah, because now we realize the only color that really matters is green.
Yeah, and no matter what they say. And now here's the thing. What's funny is they'll try to be like, well, what about all the other, the FBI going out of them and the, all the Republicans being mad? The Republicans are mad because of the fact that if it was a white person that had been accused of this, that white person would not.
I'm pretty sure Jussie was willing to have two innocent white guys go to jail for a crime that didn't happen.
Oh yeah. They were trying to blame it on those two. It
was a father and a son, I think.
Yeah, I think they were. I think they were homeless or something.
Yeah.
It's like, dude, really? Why you gotta be like that?
And then when the cops say they found the real people who did it, he's like, yeah, I'll go down and testify against them. Then he saw it was the brothers. He's like, actually no, I like to remain silent.
And it's just like. Really,
did anyone see the meme that was going around right when it happened? It said, congratulations to Jussie for being the first person in America to scam not only one, but two Nigerians.
Yeah.
I laughed so hard.
Yeah, I was, dude, I was on the floor rolling. I'm like, God damn, that was awesome.
Right, I wish I'd have thought that one up.
Well, I still say my favorite meme.
Actually, now that you mentioned Nigeria, I still have yet to hear from my good friend the Prince. It's been a few years. Oh
yeah.
no.
But I think because right now there's not really nothing about it. So I think what's gonna happen is he's just gonna quietly go away.
Oh,
probably.
No, here's the thing though, that no one else, that I think is also funny that a lot of people don't really bring up.
Mm-hmm.
You know, or that a meme brought up, I should say, but no one ever talks about because it's pretty much obvious at this point.
I have regular Diablo 3. I don't have the Shadow of the Reaper or whatever the
I have all the DLC stuff for the Switch right now.
No, I have it for PC. I'm just too poor.
But no, as I was saying, the fact that we white people are so not racist that he had to hire a couple of Nigerians to attack him instead of finding a couple of
it's like welcome to America, where you have to pay people to oppress you.
Yeah.
Right. Oh,
that's the success of capitalism for you.
Right. It's like you are so not.
He's literally destroyed the entire narrative that hate crime. I mean, he destroyed a lot of things in that one go. I'm like, I don't think he could have done it any better, man. I honestly think.
And I think like also in the same week it was found out that one of Michelle Obama's aides actually interfered with the ruling.
Yep.
Yeah, on top of that, I'm like, oh, that just makes it even. Makes it
all more sketchy.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, it's sketchy as fuck, but man,
it's just a whole extra level of sketch.
Yeah.
And he's also like a nephew to someone that's pretty big named.
Yeah, he's also a big supporter. I think of like Kamala Harris and.
Oh yeah, I think he's somehow related to Kamala. I could be wrong on that. I know he's related to somebody.
Well, but the point still stands that he pretty much is the epitome of privilege.
Oh my god! All this equipment you're not picking up is just triggering me.
Are they?
I'm always playing on hardcore, so like I need to get as much gold as I possibly can.
I'm actually surprised I got a legendary. Actually, what difficulty am I playing at? Actually, I might have to back out because you just presented something to me that I totally forgot about. I was like, you
don't know you're playing hardcore or not?
I'm playing normal, motherfucker.
How do you not know what level of difficulty you're playing?
I will.
There are so many difficulties in this game. It's ridiculous.
No kidding, right? Mm-hmm. I was gonna say, by the way, nice to meet you there, Dusk. I don't think we've ever been actually talked to.
We haven't really talked on a stream. We've only talked to each other on Twitter.
Pretty sure, yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Anywho, good to meet you.
Oh yeah, it's good to meet you too.
What the hell? What am I doing? Oh.
But no, I'm actually kind of disappointed in myself. I'm like, I can't believe I can't believe I was not. Man, I gotta back out.
You gotta spike up the difficulty on yourself.
Yeah, I'm playing on normal. I'm like, what the hell am I doing? Why am I on normal?
I was wondering what level you were on because you just absolutely melted the Skeleton King.
Yeah, and I shouldn't have been melting the Skeleton King.
You should be going, oh my god.
Well, maybe not that much. It's just like the first boss, but that was way too easy.
Yep.
Especially on adventure mode where they're actually upped on difficulty already.
Yeah, that was my exact thought. Is I was like, wait a second. Let's see, game settings. Yeah, no.
So, do you have all the other?
What?
Oh, sorry, I was throwing a grenade.
Do you have like all the other DLCs to this game?
Only one I'm missing is the one for the Necromancer, and I'm like,
I love the Necromancer.
I know. I want
the Necromancer was my main class in Diablo 2.
Oh god, that game was my crack for like 10 years, man. If I had a computer right now, that's what you'd be seeing on my screen.
And then despite the Necromancer being my main class, my most fun character was actually a Paladin who I did an exploit on, which was pretty great. And the exploit was just maxing out physical attack damage and maxing out physical attack speed. Oh man, I just melted enemies in seconds. No matter.
Does anyone remember in Diablo 2 before, I think it was like the 1.14 patch or so, you used to be able to, you know how you could swap weapons once the Lord of Destruction expansion came out?
Yeah.
If you did it just in the nick of time while you were swapping weapons, you could like drop two-handed weapons into one slot and do just ridiculous amounts of damage.
I can believe that.
But they fixed it.
No, they fixed the glitch.
Oh yeah, that was.
There was no fixing the exploit that I found because it was all working as intended.
Oh well, then it's not not technically an exploit. I guess it was more of a feature.
It was like I had like all the runes put into a Flamberg, and I was playing a Paladin, and I maxed out the aura that increased attack damage and attack speed.
Oh yes.
So I was doing ridiculous amount of damage and a ridiculous amount of speed.
I loved how much you could customize your character builds in that game. My God, I had a sorceress that swung an axe until hell difficulty when everything was fire resistant.
Yeah.
But I did that. I had a barbarian that could literally almost not kill anything by himself. But I would pimp out his little Act 2 guard with the spear. And then I would hop in little circles using leap and just stun lock, enemies up against walls or terrain or whatever.
I think that's how my parents played.
I'd do that, and then you go and pop the corpses behind them. I called it the vulture build because I'd get in a multiplayer game and just follow along behind people and just pop all the corpses while they were off screen.
One of my favorite things to do to level up a character in multiplayer was find a game that a high level druid or necromancer, then just stay in the minion vortex.
Yeah.
So I'm like a level 1, like a level 1 paladin in like a hell or nightmare difficulty act 2 or 3 in the middle of a giant wave of skeletons, not dying and just leveling up ridiculous so you can get all the good gear.
Mm-hmm. If I remember right, the Necro could have up to like nearly 30 minions at one time if you're.
Oh my gosh! You had like up to like 20 skeleton warriors, like 10 skeleton mages, the golem,
and then you could have a golem on top. So that's 31 right there. Yeah, dude. I had a Necro that used the bow.
Kind of the same thing with the wolves, the crows, the creep bind, and the spirit.
Yeah, dude.
And then you can then you can join in the minion wave by being a were creature.
Yeah. What I was talking about swapping into like 2 poleaxes on one hand. That was especially effective if you were, say, a paladin using zeal or just a werewolf druid using their quick attack, which I forget the name of. But you would just it was retarded.
And like you can also switch out like the dire wolves you can summon for like a singular bear. But it's like, why do that when I can have a shit ton of wolves?
Oh yeah, dude, that's sad. I don't even know what half of y'all are talking about. Like any of y'all, what y'all are talking about?
So you never played Diablo 2?
I have Diablo 2. I just haven't put it. Like I put maybe like 40, 50 hours into the game max, maybe. Where y'all?
I played like all the
I played it repeatedly.
All the classes.
Hey, exactly my point. And so let's see what I got. Let's see what I got.
You got shit.
And I got a Midnight's Double, which is it's shite compared to what I got, but looks good.
The Diablo maps say that this is shit.
I'm sorry, but the main thing that I like that makes this quiver so awesome, I have 2 additional sentries. I'm not getting
handy.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Yeah,
I haven't touched Diablo 3 in quite a while.
yeah, I have a few, but
I play like on the weekends on the Switch when my parents are like working, because it's technically their Switch, but I play on the weekends because they work all weekend. So I'm not bothering them.
That works.
Yeah.
That and if I remember, your laptop really can't handle heavy games, can it?
It can. It's a gaming laptop. I just don't have a whole lot of games for it, and I can't really like do my physical games because it doesn't have a disc drive.
Oh hell.
Yeah. So
yeah, I about wigged out when I heard they started making computers with no disc drive. I'm like, well, how the hell are you gonna play anything?
You're playing Vermintide.
So it's like I have to like rebuy all my physical games digitally. It sucks.
Yeah, that's basically what they want you to do.
Yeah, I'm not about to do that.
Like, yeah,
I'm so tech resistant. I didn't get my first smartphone until like I think it was October of 2015.
Is this Vermintide 1 or Vermintide 2?
This is 2.
Okay.
And real quick, Dusco, what you might be able to do, I'm not sure if it'll work, but what you might be able to do is link the passkey of your game to your Steam account. So if the game is already on Steam, you may be able to.
I tried doing that with like the Knights of the Old Republic. You know, you like the CD keys.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that doesn't work.
Lame.
I know. I also tried to do the same thing with Heroes of Might and Magic 5 Tribes of the East. That also didn't work.
Yeah, that's pure.
Ooh.
Pure Bantapudu.
So you guys ever play Arcanum?
I've heard of it, never played it.
I played a little bit of it, but I did see that they have it on Steam, and I just added it to my wish list like a few days ago.
Mm-hmm.
Fun game.
I just thought the thing that bothers me about Arcanum is that like you have a guy that built a magic gun, so it means you can do magic and technology at the same time. The gun proved it. It may have killed him, but if you fix it, it works. And so why not both? Why not? You know what I mean? Arcanum penalizes you if you try to do both.
Yeah.
If I remember right, isn't there supposed to be like DLC for this game to add in Beastmen?
What, on Vermintide?
And Vermintide 2, I think I saw something to do with Beastmen.
There may be. I don't know.
Because really, that's like the only force of chaos that's like really left, I think.
BRB, gotta pee.
Just imagine trying to fight like a gore bull.
No thanks.
Position.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know about that.
That would be kind of terrifying, having to fight a gore bull. And for those who don't know, a gore bull is basically like a minotaur on steroids.
I mean, we already have enough with the orgs that we have now. You know.
Why not have more? Oh, then it might also have the possible chance of having like harpies or maybe
Oh, dude, I don't think we would be able to do flying enemies because I don't remember there being flying enemies right now in
Yeah, and I don't think there is any flying enemies, but that would be an interesting thing to have as a nuisance.
Yeah.
Make you terrified of open air.
Yeah, right.
Right.
Fuck, they're all over the place.
Start having the Vietnam flashbacks.
Yeah, there are no flying enemies in this. Now that you mention it.
Yeah, there are no flying enemies because I
don't know why that never occurred.
I don't think there was any flying enemies in Left 4 Dead, which this game is kind of based off mechanically.
Oh yeah, it's exactly a Left 4 Dead.
Yeah, I don't think we would do too well was that.
I think the only thing that was like remotely close to a flying enemy was the hunter, and he was just a leaper.
Yeah,
as well as possibly a smoker, but he was just basically a grapple sniper. Which is kind of a weird concept, but they somehow made it work.
I don't know how we got like Gatling gun, the Rattling guns. Those fuckers.
Because Chaos. Chaos instructed him how to do it.
Is it kind of weird that, like, Chaos in the Warhammer verse is, like, one of the most technologically advanced factions in the series?
I guess I'm actually just getting into all the Warhammer lore.
Like, sure, like, the Empire has, like, tanks, but they don't have cannons on them. They're more like armored transports, and they're still using, like, flintlocks and stuff. Meanwhile, you have, like, rat people. You have, like, rat people with Gatling guns.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, I know. Oh, my God, the minigun. Run for your pathetic lives.
I've got a repeating rifle here.
Yeah, I feel like the only thing that's, like, close to that kind of tech is the dwarves.
Yeah.
Who legitimately have helicopters.
Yeah.
They're called gyrocopters, but they're just personal combat helicopters.
Pretty much.
I mean, what's going on?
I also love how dwarves are, like, the only faction that doesn't have any cavalry. Why have cavalry when you got big cannons and guns?
Right.
Then I go back to the Tolkien dwarves not liking horses or something. Where that trope comes from.
I think the only thing close to cavalry the dwarves have are the what are they called? The Slayers. The Slayers. They're like the only ones that are close to cavalry because they are a bit faster than normal units. They're not as heavily armored as normal units, and they have, like, speed boosted or damaged depending on how long they charge.
I don't know. I've never actually, like, I'm just getting into the whole Warhammer lore.
Mm-hmm.
Never played the tabletop. It's far too expensive for my taste at this point.
I've never had Peter, but
I always suggest people to, like, buy at least the books, and then to replace the figurines, just, like, make your own, like, tokens for stuff.
That's a good idea.
It'll make it a lot easier to get into if you just make your own.
Some of those codices, though, get pretty pricey too.
Yeah, they can be. I think you can get some cheap PDF collections.
Oh, right. Then again, I'm a cheap ass dude. Like I said, my family crest.
The only thing I would never recommend anybody play, no matter how much of a fan you are, is Gizzywig style gameplay. Gizzywig is absolute cancer.
I have no idea what that means.
Yeah,
what that basically is that whenever you, like, play with the figurines for campaigns, like all the figurines, they're, like, custom made. Like, you can add in, like, pieces of equipment and armor, accessories, buffs, standards, and weaponry. You know.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
With Gizzywig, what it is that you can't, whenever you're playing with the figurines, you cannot give the figurine what is not already on it. So it's basically like, okay, you have a figurine that has a power axe. Well, unless you change out that power axe, that figurine, that unit will always have a power axe.
Oh, that sounds like shit.
So yeah, you have to get the equipment and switch it out in order to have accurate representation.
Now, is this a Games Workshop supported, like, mode of playing, or is this something like somebody's house rule?
I'm pretty sure Games Workshop would promote that because you're buying more of their stuff. But
yeah, so I was thinking, like, it's got to be like.
But as far as I know of, like, there's really no, like, outside of, like, the books. Like, Gizzywig is not a book, but outside of the books, there's really no official company supported way of playing. It's more of a fan base thing.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So and obviously not many people play Gizzywig.
Yeah, I would think not.
Yeah, just from what you stated here, doesn't sound like it's a great thing to do.
And unless you just have a shit ton of money, you're just looking to waste.
Well, they can buy
like those people that can afford to buy the effing Titans that cost like $2,000.
Ugh.
Oh my, dude! I've driven cars that only cost $500. Like, I can't imagine spending that much on a model. Christ's sake.
And the problem is, I would love to like own some of the models and paint them, but they've done so many scum tactics to artificially inflate the prices on those things, man. Like I remember it like 2 or 3 times they even like limited production number just so the value of the figurines would go up.
All right. Oh, like what's funny is y'all were talking about that like in like Warhammer and what. I'm just like I'm over here proud of my.
Yeah, you were showing him BattleTech you had the other day, right?
Yeah, BattleTech.
Yeah,
oh yeah.
Like straight up my.
That looks fun.
That oh dude, like literally this. Okay, I remember when MechWarrior Dark Age launched. Me and my friends are in Colorado. All of us played BattleTech already. So when MechWarrior Dark Age launched, we were like, okay, let's check it out. Oh my fucking god! What's funny is I ended up being Banson's Raiders, which is basically it's Inner Sphere, but they are not a recognized house because they're more like a mercenary band. But the guy who Banson, if I remember his name, he basically had the money to be able, like, he was trying to make it a legitimate house. He was trying to pretty much earn his way into being a legit house. But man, like, oh, dude, I mean, just saying.
I was gonna say the only MechWarrior or BattleTech related I've actually gotten to play was back on the Super Nintendo, man. MechWarrior game.
One of my favorite parody, like internet parody writers, did a LP of MechWarrior 4, I think, as like an entire riff story. It's pretty great.
Well, what's funny is that once I get the figures in the box where I can actually shut the box, I gotta bust out something. But like, first off, I'll bust out my long box with all my basically normal common figures. Okay.
And also, I just love the aesthetics of Warhammer. They have
dude.
Really great designs.
All right.
And I love how like all their artwork is basically classical artwork styled.
All right, hold up. Okay, once it focuses, do you see this logo here?
Yeah.
It's a little hard to tell, but it's a little battle axe, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
All right. A buddy of mine, knowing that was my faction and whatnot, when he was getting stuff, I'd say this was like, 2014, we were all buying it, aftermarket. It had long since been discontinued type deal. And one of the things, he couldn't find it for his faction, but what he was able to find for me was, mind you, there's gotta get all the dice correct. He was able to find
That's nice.
Yep.
That's real nice.
Dude, it's why I especially knew Duskwall would appreciate it because he's another tabletop
enthusiast.
Yes.
Oh no, I'm all about throwing some dice. D&D used to be my shit.
Dude, my little brother's into board games.
Oh, right on. Yeah. Speaking of board games, my buddy got one. Good Lord, I've done a whole series of pictures on my Twitter about it. I can't think of the name of the company makes it, but it is a Cthulhu-based tabletop game.
Oh yeah,
and is that? I think that's. Damn it, what's it called? No, Mansions of Madness.
Oh,
and it is amazing. It comes with there's an app you download that basically acts as the DM.
I think it plays that. It's pretty good.
Yeah, it plays background music. It tells you like where to place the new floor tiles, where monsters appear. It asks you to make your rolls.
Before my brother.
And you actually have to like fight against, well, not fight against the elder gods, but like prevent them from appearing in the world.
Some of the missions, yeah. Other ones are like investigations. You're just trying to figure out who did something in time. Yeah. But it's pretty badass. I had a great job. We played it a couple of rounds. Like we spent literally 12 hours one day with a couple of breaks, just playing through different scenarios.
Oh, I believe it. And also,
got a hell of a good time.
Real quick, show off the.
Yeah, I saw that. Your freaking pile of treasures there,
dude. I gotta say,
your freaking dice purse there.
Right, dude. I know if you were at home, you'd be busting out your dice too, and you'd be like, yeah, and probably showing me what a real collection looks like.
I actually don't have any dice. I can never afford dice. I have to rely on virtual rollers.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Yeah. I keep applying for like those like Twitter giveaways of dice, but I never win them. Never win them.
Oh, like me and trying to win a damn digital drawing pad. That shit never happens.
Yeah.
Dude.
I'm thinking I'm going to have to get an iPad to do
I would have so many sets if I had my way. There are so many good looking sets.
Oh, I know. I know. Like, and that's the thing. Like, if you to the uninitiated, they're like, they don't understand. It's like, okay, it's true freedom. Like, if you've never tabletop gamed, you don't understand the level of just what you can do.
I remember a DM story of where he had no idea what his party was going to be doing because there's like 4 or 5 people in the party, and they were all bards, right?
Oh, nice.
well, guess what? They managed to somehow raise enough money to buy a tavern and then pretty much turn his campaign into medieval Cheers.
That is amazing. Actually, I like that. That is. I'm over here like slow clapping. That is so fucking brilliant.
Right?
Just a whole party of bards and they made cheers.
Well, like what bothers me, and
everybody slays you.
What bothers me to this day, and I hate if you're this type of player, you can go straight to hell. Do not pass go. Do not collect your $200. You go straight to hell, motherfucker. And that's the guys that have to make the campaign all about them and completely derail the campaign.
Yeah.
And so my response to those guys is congratulations, insta-death. How did I die? Your own stupidity.
I also love
your own stupidity. I love that. That was awesome.
I pissed off the DM one time. My buddy Joel. My next attack roll, I forget what I'd said. Probably had, I don't know, ragging some kind of joke at him, I'm sure. But my very next attack roll, I think I had only managed to roll a 2, right? Not a critical fail, but nevertheless, I think it was whatever. I may have had a long sword at the time. It goes flying across the room into a bucket hanging over a well, which bucket drops 30 feet down into the well. I had to spend my entire next turn getting my sword back out of this well while I'm getting whomped on by whatever it was.
What's funny?
It's not smart off to the DM again.
Some of my other favorite stories also have to involve those who really game their bards in specific ways to where they would end up being the few only survivors of their party in a very difficult combat, but they still wind up winning because they made the dragon they fought against kill themselves due to overuse of cutting words.
Nice.
They basically make a dragon commit suicide due to weaponized insults.
Dude, one of these days I too have to create a bard because I have heard so many hilarious stories of the things you can do with bards. And I've been fortunate enough to never have a bard within the party. No matter what.
They can easily be the best characters in the campaign or the worst characters in the campaign. There is no middle ground.
It all depends on who's playing them.
Pretty much.
And how lenient your DM is.
Well, and see, that's the thing, though. I refuse to be the guy that takes over the campaign, because I've been DM and had guys do that, and it's like, all right, you know what, you're a fucking dick for doing that. And I'm a pretty lenient DM. I'm like, if you want to do some shit that's like kind of borderlining on whether or not you could do it or whatnot, I'll let you, as long as it's, you know, within reason and it's you don't abuse it. And then you get that one character, that one player who, all right, so prime example, I did a Marvel superheroes campaign, right?
Uh-oh.
I think you told me about this one at some point.
Yeah, I probably did, but sorry for
happy.
sorry.
Yeah,
for
when you said that, I was like, uh-oh.
Yeah, no. Basically, long story short, dude had an OP character that I said was cool. You can have your OP character. I'm not worried about it. You know, just don't take over the campaign. He's like, oh, word, okay. Well, let's just say he started, like, he knew where the campaign was going. We have an entire group of people who never fucking dice gamed.
Oh.
And
So he wanted to run it?
So I'm running it. I'm trying to.
Needless to say, some man out there is named Uncle Ben, and he is very disappointed.
Mm-hmm.
But, dude, well, for me, it what bothers the shit out of me is he knew exactly where the campaign was going. He knew we were trying to keep it interesting, trying to show these guys what you can really do in a dice game and how fun it can be, right? Well, he decides he's going to take control of the campaign and just keep doing a bunch of stupid shit. And since his character's powers were entirely based on sound, I made his character go deaf.
Nice. That'll teach him. Oh, dude, yeah. Speaking of going deaf, sort of. That's one really interesting aspect to that Mansions of Madness game I was talking about, the Lovecraft-based. Mm-hmm. You not only have a health score, but you have a sanity score. You can take so many points of damage.
Oh yeah,
literally.
It's not a new mechanic. It's not a new mechanic, but they've done.
Oh yeah, but it was new to me. Hell, but once you actually go insane, you draw a card, and it'll tell you what your insanity is. I went mute halfway through a game and couldn't speak to anyone for the rest of the campaign. So that was fun.
Yeah. If you're doing a Lovecraft-based game, you have to have the insanity meter.
Oh, it was great. I'd never not been able to talk at a tabletop game before. And you also can't tell the people what your insanity is. That's against the rules. Yeah. Like I had one where I had to corner one of my teammates, and I had to have a knife on me. And then I won the campaign by having to sacrifice them to, I don't know, Yog-Sothoth or someone. I'm not sure.
Yog-Sothoth.
But
yeah, my boy Yog-Sothoth.
That was my win condition: was get into a square alone with somebody else and have a knife on me.
Nice.
It was fun.
So what sort of dark knowledge did you get from the sacrifice?
Not sure.
So
everything went kind of hazy after that.
So apparently IDW is up for sale.
Oh, it's legitimately up for sale? They're not trying to inflate the numbers or anything?
Damn.
I guess not. It looks like they are, because I'm seeing more stuff for it now. IDW is for sale, which means they're going to lose things like Hasbro, so on and so forth. And slowly but surely, everybody's going to figure out, hey, by the way, you do this crap, you're going to lose quite a bit of the money, and then there's a...
Well, what's sad about it is I can't help but be like, well, that's what you get. You know, the company's been mismanaged already because.
Yeah, guys, it's like 12 o'clock. I'm going to need to be heading off so I can wake up early.
Later, man.
Heard.
Yeah, have a good one.
You too, dude.
Yeah, take it easy, man.
Take it easy.
We'll probably be doing the same here soon ourselves, because I really should be getting to bed. It was one of those. Well, no, it was one of those. Like I said,
a moment.
Well, it's when I said when I told you earlier about my leg, it literally woke me up. That's how bad it was.
Oh, so you'd normally be asleep already?
Oh, dude.
Or at least today.
Oh, you douchebag. No, hold on. I gotta time how's it go? Time for Daddy's belt.
Yeah, but it just sounds like they're done.
But what is it? Gorgonite Emissary says, story time. One of my friends dragged her cousin into a session she didn't want to play, so she made her character a crack rock for the next half hour. I'm arguing with my friend on how her cousin being a crack rock would work.
I'm assuming this was a modern setting.
I don't know, but it sounds freaking hilarious. I'm not even
right?
gonna... Dude, and like, let's be honest, there's you can do a lot, and if you are creative enough, you can get some laughs out of a good tabletop game. I mean,
oh yeah,
like,
hey man, we as tabletop aside, there's also other things you can do. Cards Against Humanity.
No. I finally found my cards, so I got that. Game's so much fucking okay. I can't even repeat my best fucking hands or best fucking plays because of how bad they are.
right.
Because when it says on the box, a card game for horrible people, motherfucker, me and my friends on their Discord have a specific group, or not a group, but I guess you could say a text room for all our like oh shit memes, okay? Memes that are just like oh, like we're talking people like I'm not talking like nerdish level where it's like apparently I've never been to the Discord, but apparently there was a lot of like
yeah, but that's what happens when the cat's away, when the cat is away, the mice will come out to play. And because Nurkish wasn't there, you know, they said, oh hey, he's not here no more, so let's just cost whatever shit we can and have fun.
Yeah. Okay, and to answer your question about what Gorgonite was saying, nope. Medieval fantasy sentient crack rock that would possess people upon being smoked, and when the character died, a new crack rock would be made. Such this opportunity.
No, but in any case, I think we should go back to IDW because you were saying something about IDW.
Being mismanaged and whatnot.
Since technically we should have been talking about comics and games, but we kind of veered off so far. It's not funny.
We are talking about games. We're talking about tabletop games.
True. Oh yeah. All right. And you carry on.
But it's just one of those.
It's one of those days.
Oh yeah, but like, dude. And speaking of IDW, part of the reason why I'm like meh is because back when over the summer we got talking about what was going on with IDW and the farming out of Marvel characters over there.
Mm-hmm.
And cool. And the thing is one of the things that I was mentioned, I don't know if it was me. No, I think it was actually Slick who mentioned this about how if IDW doesn't stick around, or does stick around, no, that doesn't. It's just going to prove the point. Dude, it's been so long since we talked about it, but no, what's happening with IDW doesn't surprise anyone that's been following IDW because of the fact that this is their like third or fourth quarter where they've been in the negative.
Mm-hmm.
And Marvel licensing out the kids' books to them was pretty much their way of trying to help. If you ask me, it was basically Marvel trying to stick it to the Joe Quesada and whatnot, trying to stick it to the various quote unquote comic skaters. Because let's be honest, we all saw this happening. We all knew this was going to happen. We've been saying, a lot of us have been saying for a while now. I've been saying since woke Marvel became a thing that, you know, hey, this is not good for the industry. I was saying, you know, how we really should be looking at the situation very skeptically. We should be getting on to Marvel, so on and so forth. And then when I found out there were more people other than me just saying it, that like I think it's like my first like Comicsgate channel that I came across was actually your boy Zach, and then Captain Cummings, and then Yellow Flash, and then just some guy. I didn't like when Tug first appeared on the first meeting of the Minds. I had not seen any of his videos. None. Like, and I give Tug credit. He's real chill and everything, but at the same time, it's like for me, I really don't. I stopped watching a lot of everyone's videos because it just I've tried to get through Ethan Van Skyver's videos, but it's like watching a 40-something-year-old edgelord, blatantly showing he's a 40-year-old edgelord is difficult. Excellent artist, excellent artist. I will give him credit there. I give him full credit. Like he's put his time in. He's earned the right to call himself, the artist of skill that he is. Mm-hmm. But I just can't help but feel like, dude, come on, dude. Like, I watched one of his live streams, and he was talking about, and it was one of the ones where he talked about Treasure Bays to Mars, and this, that, and the other. And Edwin has to try to be like, well, it was when he was, Ethan said something along the lines of make them build their own Treasure Bays by force, turn them into basically quote unquote slaves to do it, and then Edwin has to sit there and be like, we don't condone this type of bit, and then Ethan doubles down and was like, Ethan, Edwin's trying to look out for you, man. Like, and from that point on, I stopped watching his live stream.
A bunch of those guys are broken fucking records, and I'm just tired of hearing it. Not to mention other issues I've got with some of them, but
well, it's just
don't want to go into that.
I don't know. I don't really want to get into that. It's just
No, I get it. I get it.
I've met a lot of great people through all this, though. You guys, other people. Hell, I may get into back doing art again and maybe get to work with some of y'all.
Oh, yeah.
I really need to work.
But the best part about, I guess you could say, the best thing to come out of CG isn't necessarily anything, as funny as it sounds, actually related to CG. In sense, it's the adjacent crowd that ended up forming because of the way a lot of the CG guys started being.
Yep.
Yeah.
And it's like, I'm not going to sit there and say, like, I may have my grievances, if you will, with certain people within the community, but at the same time, I'm not trying to say that everyone's bad. I just think that there's just a lot of situations where people forgot what the overlining concern was, which was, we're here to make comic books, we're here to enjoy comic books, we're here to be fans of comic books. Why are we fighting amongst each other?
It's, you get a big enough group of people together, there's always going to be shitheads. There's just no way around it. That is a human condition, Ain't no getting around it. It's just identifying those people and either ignoring the fuck out of them or just stay the fuck away from them.
Yeah, that's pretty much what I've... And oh, yeah, and the way I look at it, though, in the end, you're going to start seeing less of the big IGGs, you know what I mean, and more of the small IGGs. It's going to be, I guess you could say the adjacent guys are going to bring indies back to comics, and when Marvel and whatnot fails, I hope it gets replaced by, things like Alterna and, Wicked, and, you know what I mean? Like...
And Ash Can and Science Wizard Comics. And,
all those bits. Like, push the little guys, push the big guys out. They had their time. They screwed themselves. They stopped listening to the fans. And it's going to take time. You're going to, like, none of the, like, Wicked is
not. It's going to be a slow death for Marvel DC. It's not something that's going to be new.
What the hell was that?
What was that?
That was my chair. I think that's my chair. Oh,
that scared the shit out of me.
And I guess Melter finally woke up and was like, "Oh, they muted me. I'm just going back to sleep."
Was he snoring on the stream again?
Oh yeah, he was.
Yeah, he was.
Dude, he works early though.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, but either way, I mean that's the whole point. It's like, look, we're not going to. I guess you say we're not going to let comic books die without a fight. We're just not going to, we're just going to let those comic books die without a fight.
Yeah.
Well, all right, man, fuck you guys. We'll be over here making comics that are fun and like it's like take for instance what I was originally planning on doing with my comics was very much like serious, dark, gritty, full of a lot of like nihilism and metaphors and things like that. And then I'm like, man, I look at all these comic books and I was like, man, I'm not about to do that. I just want to I'm just gonna make my comic fun. And make it to where like something that fans can enjoy. And over time, when I get far enough into the story, then I bring, and I go to telling, the events like what I mentioned, the destruction of New York and telling what actually happened there and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And like when I get there, because the way the story goes, the way the narrative, I should say, of my story goes is the first few pages of every issue is it basically at a certain point, I guess is the best way I can put it. It's 15 years after the issue 0, all right, and you're being told the events from after, like how it started, and then after the apocalypse, and him, from when he became a standard superhero and whatnot, all the way on up to when you're finally there, like narrative-wise, and then he fills in the audience on what happened between issue 0 and issue 1.
Oh, right on.
Cool.
Like, that's the best way I can describe it. It's meant to be very, like... It's meant to be a unique way of telling the story without trying to be overly pretentious and allowing the reader to become... I guess you could say allowing the reader to become attached to the character before you find out. Because once you see what happens between the issue 0 and issue 1, you understand how he became the way he is, and 2, you truly do look at the character completely different after you see what happened.
Well, that should be interesting.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Like that's the idea that I have, and if I can do it right and I can properly give the story the right between the like I said, this where you start in issue 1 all the way to where you finally get there within the narrative. Let's just say there's a lot that fucking happens between those 2 points. A lot that happens. Because you gotta figure between issue 0 and issue 1, 5 years have passed. And then you are filled in the over time, the 10 years basically. 10 years worth of events before you finally find out what happened.
Ooh.
And it's like, and I'm not gonna have it all be, you know what I mean? I'm not gonna actually take 10 years later. Well, I probably could, but I'm not. I'm gonna try not to. But
sorry,
yeah, go ahead. No.
Oh, no, just this nasty malt liquor is getting warm over here. I've been so caught up talking with you guys and playing this game, I forgot I had it open next to me.
I don't even, dude. I drank like the grape vodka the other night, and I'm good on drinking for a while. Good on drinking for a while. Ugh. That was shitty vodka too. That's what makes it worse.
The way my work schedule works out, I do catering at a barbecue place. So I go in and I work third shift, cook overnight. Get everything ready, get it all chopped up, cooked up, whatever, in pans. And giant styrofoam wheel Cambros ready to go, loaded up in the vans. So the way it generally ends up working out is I'll go on a week or two stretch and then have a few days off in between. So I like to have me some beers on my days off and occasionally some malt liquors.
Well, I can't afford too much. I can't afford too much right now. I'm poor.
Don't get me wrong. I'm paycheck to paycheck. It was the slow season for a couple of months. Hopefully, I'll be able to get a little bit ahead here.
Well, I'm commission to commission.
Summertime and all that.
Unfortunately, I'm commission to commission.
Right.
Well, what I find funny is the things you see me make, and like if you hadn't told me you work, that's basically what you do, a lot of cooking and whatnot for your job. I would have just thought you were a dude that enjoyed food and enjoyed the various ideas that you can come up with when cooking and everything.
Oh, I do to an extent. When I get home, I just hold my hand up and in front of my eyes and walk straight past my kitchen. But it's rarely I ever cook for myself. But it's always fucking tasty, though. I worked at a Cajun joint for 3.5 years, and I learned some great recipes there.
Oh, I bet, dude.
A little Cajun food, I guarantee it'd be the best you ever had. Well, maybe not the best. I'm no Justin Wilson. Oh, crap. I am getting my ass whooped.
I think that is game. I think that's game right there.
That is game. Yep. Dude just fell off. Yep. Ah. Damn it. Oh, well.
But
we had a good run.
All right. All right, guys. I think it might be that time. I was trying to give Daniel enough time to finish his Wonder Woman, but it's that time.
No, it's fine. I'm just because I'm debating what to do. I think I really feel like doing something else because I think I kind of goofed it, but
Nice rack, dude. I just saw that.
Well, I admit though, it's like you've got good art and everything, and like I said, I finally watched The Reign of the Superman, and that was. And you said you ranked, Zach? Wait.
You what now?
I thought you said you ranked.
Ranked? No.
Okay.
I said nice rack. I was talking about his Wonder Woman there.
Oh. Yeah, proper Wonder Woman with, a huge rack that, it's. Why is it that SJWs can't just let us enjoy the female form? I'm just saying.
It's not realistic. Madam, if you go to California, you're gonna find a lot of ladies that have plastic in their chest, and that's not realistic. But it's there. Just let it be. Just because you're not you didn't pay tons of money to make yourself look beautiful doesn't mean you have to discard everybody else.
Right. But, Oh yeah, no, I really do. I really do.
Not to mention, it's fantasy. You can do what the fuck you want.
Exactly, right?
Right.
It's not as if you're affecting that image on the screen.
Yeah, I mean, because you're over here shipping male characters with other male characters and female characters with other female characters.
Oh,
even though the actual content doesn't go anywhere near that, because I think the latest thing is they want Captain Marvel to get together with Valkyrie in the MCU.
Oh, I know.
Okay, all right, that's up to y'all. That's your prerogative.
It's like this. They're going to be like, we want all of this to happen, and they're going to see. I think after Endgame, they're going to see the series go straight fucking what happened to Star Wars, and it's going to be because they think they're going to pull people back with the next Star Wars with Episode 9. It's like, do you realize you fucked up so bad with Episode 8? You're not getting asses back in those seats, and you fucked up so bad with Captain Marvel, and not the movie. Like from what I've heard, it's a pretty generic superhero movie. It's not.
Yeah, it's pretty generic. As a comic book character, she's morally bankrupt and just pretty much she's pretty much a supervillain. They just need to you guys just need to come out. She's a supervillain. That's what she is. Just go with it.
She didn't used to be, but like but the point is though, like what they're going to do with the the MCU from this point on after Endgame. They think they're going to get asses and seats. It's like, have fun catering to people who like the
It's a 12-year journey that's about to come to a close on Endgame, and you think that people are really gonna follow it after that because you're depending on what you do with Endgame is what's gonna happen. If you throw away a lot of those key characters, you're not gonna get a lot of people back coming, especially if you get rid of. I realized that Robert Downey Jr. is getting too old to be playing a lot of.
Oh yeah. And Chris,
he's getting to the point where he's like, he's done. He's most likely tired of acting altogether.
Well, for me,
he's probably tired of being alive after all the drugs he's put in himself. Oh my God, dude.
Well, no, the point I was making actually was when it comes to like Chris Evans, he's not going to be in it anymore. They're doing the big replace and everything. It's like, okay, you have a situation where all the actors that was charming and got you to where you are leaving. You had this movie that made let's be honest, it made the 750 through possibly really shady means. I don't care what people say, like Jim my boy and all, but I disagree with them that the movie didn't do well. The movie didn't do well, and they know it. And they're padding the stats, they're padding the numbers, and then you have Endgame that will do well because it's Endgame. Let's be honest. But after that, they're going to, like I said, it's going to be Solo. The whole franchise is going to, you're going to see flop after flop after flop, and they're going to see the money they make. Well, not so much flops. Might start out they get some sales.
The sales are just going to continue to start going down. Yeah, like I said, they were already heading toward a superhero fatigue, and so
it's not a superhero fatigue because. Let's be honest, we can continue to watch superhero movies and everyone can continue, people are now seeing what comic book collectors saw, all right? They're seeing what the fans saw, and they're like, okay, I'm looking forward to the next superhero movie, I'm looking forward to whatever. But the thing is, what they have done is they've made it to where they've let their narrative basically override their storytelling, if that makes sense. They are like, let's see, I'm actually looking up current box office for Ms. Marvel.
Because Alita cost $400 million, so. And that's despite not a huge marketing scheme and whatever. I think the other beautiful thing is that James Cameron owns all the rights to the productivity of right. I mean the rights for Alita, to show it and so on and so forth.
All right, here's one for you. Finally, on the 24th, Miss Marvel hit 900 million. Apparently. Excuse me.
Yeah, but I know some people are like, "Well, it was a financial success." Yeah, but it's probably still a.
It's a financial success.
But it's still
a disappointment.
Yeah, it's still a disappointment.
There we go. This is what I was looking for.
I don't know.
It's currently at 938,000 or 938 million. Sorry. Okay, so if it's, and this is, today, or no, not today, as of the 27th. All right. And if you are only, let's see, and yeah, they don't even have the last 2 days on here.
That sounds like
that's not a good sign. And
yeah, that's not a good sign if you can't see the numbers, because the numbers start disappearing. Then it's not doing too well.
And like it only like opening weekend 153 million, but how many of those numbers are padded? And here's the thing: it's like one dude mentioned about how the whatchamacallit, the changes made to various how the give me a second, my mind just went blank. The record sales worked for like Jay-Z and a few other people after they
I mean it's pretty shady, but without any evidence or concrete proof, the only thing we have is theories and
I know I understand that, but what I'm saying is the fact that what they are pretty much what I'm saying is the okay, I don't. Can I translate that?
Nah, I know. Like I said, dude, it's a we get the idea and we understand it, but unfortunately, without any concrete proof or evidence, all we have is hearsay and theories and ideas about.
Oh yeah.
You know.
Oh, people talking about like entire rows of seats being bought out, no one being in them, type of thing.
Yeah,
pretty much.
And it's like,
yeah, ain't no telling, man. Ain't no telling. Disney's got more money than God, so they can pretty well do what they want.
Metro 23 is like it's Russian. I know Russian. I was trying to find out what it means. I'm just like, I don't speak Russian. I mean, granted, I wouldn't.
Привет, до свидания. Vodka. Babushka? I'm trying to think of any other Russian that I know.
I think that's it.
I don't even know that. I am not. Oh God, I'm just. I
said hello, goodbye, grandmother. That's about all the Russian I know.
I don't even know that, dude. I don't know. I don't even know that. But either way, the point I was making, though, is Ms. Marvel, with everything that happened, they are probably going to end up changing the rules that surround what classifies as opening sales and things like that, specifically because of the things they did with this movie. Watch. And in the end, they'll have basically destroyed their own franchise for no reason other than they could. Because they wanted to be able to virtue signal their wokeness to the world. Oh, we're so woke. We're so woke. Look at us now. And now you have no franchise because you ran off all the fans that were pretty much marketing the movie in a lot of ways for you. Because let's be honest, a Marvel movie, they can just say, we have a new Marvel movie coming out. And they're like, oh, okay, we'll check it out.
Yeah, honestly, what they should have done, they should just. It's kind of like what they do with a lot of the other movies. They should have just have her run, but it's the 2000s instead of the 90s. And so as the movie ends, she notices that people are disappearing, and then she's kind of alone in space. And then just have it cut right there, and then she's she's flying in from space or something, to help with Thanos. And she's not the central character,
Well, like I said, I think they did the reshoots to try to downplay some of the, because they know they see all the fans that are mad and they're like, oh, okay, you know what? I'm just not going to. We're just going to back away slowly from Miss Marvel or Captain Marvel, and we're going to try to be like, no, we weren't trying to shove her down your throat. We don't know what you're talking about. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, all right, you have fun with that there, okay? But all right, I am thinking though it is that time. I think even Zach's like, he's muted himself and whatnot. I think he's about ready. You shut off your bid. I think it is about that time. I'm gonna wait till he comes back though before we dip out.
Yeah. No, apparently, a lot of my work is getting compared to Joe Mad now. So I'm like, hey, I love that. That's awesome.
Hey, dude, yeah, that's some pretty high touts right there.
Oh yeah, and dude, you excellent work. I mean, I'd be lying if I said it wasn't. It reminds me Phil Foglio, I think that's the name of the artist, actually.
Never heard of
He did some Magic cards back in the day.
Yeah. No, because I'm getting some comparisons for Madden. Like, hey.
I will soon find out, huh?
Mm-hmm.
No.
Dude, I still want to get all of the Age of Apocalypse.
I got the Battle Chasers run, and
oh yeah, Battle Chasers is beautiful too.
My fantasy story is actually inspired by that, actually.
Huh.
So a lot of Joe's work is what inspired me to be to do a lot of fantasy stuff. But like I said, I might also do a superhero in universe, just because I don't know how people are gonna take the fantasy stuff, and right now there's only like eight people who have bought it, and I think most of those are people I already know.
And
that's right. Just take some time to get your name out there.
Yeah.
And you're doing exactly what you got to do that, which is put your time in.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? It's I guess you say put your time in and grind. That's all I can really say. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, I think I got to institute a grind system that works. Yeah, like an MMO grind to
hell yeah, get that level up, man.
Right.
I'm gonna have to do some hella grinding just to knock the rust off. I really haven't picked up a pencil. Like, I think just the last little shits and giggles drawing I did was like 2013, maybe.
Oh yeah.
Right.
Maybe 2012. I don't know.
But
gonna take some doing.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I think we're calling it now because before you're back. All right, folks. Thanks for watching. Thanks for popping in. And with that, I'm just bid y'all adieu.
Right on. Everybody have a good one.
Later, guys.